What is going on? YouTube world. Steve, Dave, insert Revolution podcast. Episode 45, 46. I don't even remember. I just saw it and I can't even remember already.
46.
So, heading near.
And yes, Paul, ish.
Yes.
Ish. It's always 7:05-ish. I at least gave everybody fair warning.
Yeah. That was on me. That I will take responsibility this time.
Dave, it's always on you.
Good because it's a whopping 63 degrees here today after being 90 over the weekend. So again, there's no rhyme or reason to the weather in northern Minnesota. So the warm shower felt really good today. Had to get a couple things ready for food for the broadcast and set everything up. So tonight, didn't want to have like a thinking episode. What's going on, Yannick? Been plenty of those lately. Plenty of the dives into the relationships, and which I'm not saying that's a bad thing because we need that. We need more of those talks instead of the investor top 5 cards to buy, what I'm buying right now, who to sell, why to sell, where to sell, when. Just how about the folks that collect cards and have collected cards for how many years show off what they've picked up over the past 6 months, the first 6 months of the year. See how it jives in with a goals checklist that you usually, I've said I like running at the beginning of the year. I know Steve and a couple others have said that they don't, which that's fine. We all have mentally what we want to pick up, what we hope to pick up during the year. Some of that stuff may shift just because of the market or what the availability for some things. But we're going to go over that, show some cards, do a little talking, the usual. Who knows who'll stop by tonight? We are sponsored. Coors Light. Tap into the Rockies.
It's becoming the norm as of late.
Got the
Cherry Pepsi, secondary sponsor. Got to always have the booze first. That's always the primary.
Mm-hmm.
And I made sure I had my typical 2 left over the holiday weekend. For those of us who got to enjoy a holiday weekend, I know Dave was not one of them, unfortunately. Vinny, I think, caught a little bit of a break as far as what he was kind of expected to work.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't too bad for him, which, good for him. Just for the simple fact that he's been busting his butt for what feels like forever these days. And before anybody asks, yes, the hair has been cut. Finally. Yep. Bobby obviously read my mind. It was way overdue. Way overdue. But yeah, since I was off yesterday, went and got my hair cut. All in preparation, of course, for vacation, because I sure the heck didn't want the long ass hair. Adding to the extra heat that can come with being at the beach, depending on time of day and such. So for those who remember, don't remember, 2 weeks from yesterday, my wife and my kiddo will be on the beach in Surfside, Texas for our annual beach trip with the neighbors. I will be on for the first part of the show that Tuesday, as promised. I promised that to Dave. Dave hasn't promised the same in September, technically, but I have a feeling he'll still pop in at least for the first part when he's on his long needed vacation.
Oh, by then it will be.
Well, we all need it. Let's be real. I
Yeah.
mean, we all could use it. But yeah, looking forward to that. Trip's been paid for damn near a month now, so that's kind of nice. Uh, I mentioned I fence got replaced. I tried to show it last week. Probably didn't show very well because it was starting to get dark. But yeah, looking forward to some downtime. Uh, it'll be weird only being on for the first part of the show, uh, just for the simple fact I can't very well, be here and then try and do stuff from a vacation perspective because that'll be about the time we probably start cooking. Uh, but I think it'd be cool to at least be somewhere else while we do the show.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. As long as Wi-Fi is worth a damn. Sometimes you just don't know, but let's hope that we don't run into any issues. If not, I'll be doing it from my phone. So we will find a way.
That'll be the key in late August, September to figure out how that's going to work. There is Wi-Fi from like the bathhouse, but there's also, that means traffic at the bathhouse. So it may be a quick on and off depending on connection from the shores. So
We will figure out a way to make it work. We will be reaching out to a few individuals to have you kind of jump in and be co-hosts. Dave will at least get us started like he always does, and then I'll kind of take over and let Dave enjoy his downtime. And if he wants to pop in the comments, he may do that as well. But it'll be fun. Dave always looks forward to this time or to that time of the year. This is, I mean, it's been an annual tradition technically for us. This will be the third year we've actually gone on vacation with the neighbors. Last year, it was earlier on in the year, and we just kind of took a 2-hour drive up the road type situation because nothing else we could really do. But it'll be fun to get back to the beach. And we're actually staying through Sunday this time. So yeah, looking forward to it. Very much so.
got anything planned down there? Or just play it by ear?
We pretty much just kind of go with the flow. The only thing that we do is kind of pre-plan the menu, so to speak.
Okay.
So we buy everything here and then drive it down. So that's the only thing that we really do. And as far as what we have each day, that's not even planned. So we go out to eat one night, whatever night we choose that to be. But outside of that, when we go to the beach, if we go sightseeing, go to any of the, aviaries or any of that type of stuff, it's just, if the mood strikes us, we'll go. If it doesn't, we'll sit around twiddling our thumbs and enjoy the peace and quiet. To sit there and not have an itinerary makes things just so much easier because you can come and go as you want. I do know my wife has made mention that there's a daiquiri bar that's within walking distance of the house that we're staying at. So I think we'll go there at least once, if not more. Just depends. But like I said, outside of that, there's no plans.
And that's probably the best. We did that last year when we went up to the North Shore the 2 times in June and in August, where we had the itinerary, but we had looked at like the waterfalls of the North Shore. And so we did that. That was like one day we'd go here and here. One day we went up to like past Grand Portage near Thunder Bay, and like a super long back road where we're like, is this the right way? I mean, we are 6 8 miles on this like basically one lane ATV type trail, going to find some. I think it's called Pigeon Falls, if I remember correctly, um, right on the Canadian border. So I mean, you're looking, and it's not like notated as such, but you look across this little area of water, and then the falls are down a little ways. Right across the other side is Canada. So we did that, and I mean that was awesome. That was well worth the trip. But I think this time we're both super inclined to just really relax a lot and just sit, and hopefully the neighbors, because again, you're not like butt up against people like you would be at a normal public camping site. There's trees and like bushes between most every campsite. So unless you have raucous youth or just idiots from Chicago or Minneapolis who have to exclaim every "There's geese over there!" No shit. Thank you for the update. I mean, look at the water. Yeah, that's all you see. If you're looking in that direction, that's what you see. And if you have people that just really want to just relax, you hope for that. Now you hope for the best, but you always prepare yourself for the dumbasses that just it's the first time ever being in the woods, or they got the kids that just I'm bored. Shut up. I'm not. Go away. I don't want to hear any of you. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, again, the same thing. Might go out to eat a couple spots. Uh, there might be one day heading back to Ely because it's only like hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes just to do laundry, or go to Grand Marais, maybe go up there, do laundry up there, and eat somewhere. So that's about 40 minutes away. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, we're over 5 hours. That ain't happening.
Well,
That's
again,
why we're also in a house. We've got all the amenities that we need. Uh, so the only downside is, and you know, it. I will give the homeowner credit. You know, we went through VRBO or Verbo because that's how they advertise it. But you know, we've always called it VRBO. Um, at least let us know, hey, water down here is shitty.
mm,
You know, bring water. So water for coffee, ice, you know, cooking, the dog,
mm,
because my neighbor's across the street. He's a Vietnam vet, has a service dog. So she, of course, travels with us. So it's one of those in which they at least prepared us. So we've been picking up gallons of water over the past couple weeks just to, you know, make sure we have it, not get it all at one time to where, you know, you're lugging 10 bottles or stuff from Walmart or Kroger or wherever it's being picked up from. Uh, so we've got our water situation squared away. I think we calculated like 3 gallons a day, because 2 pots of coffee, and you know they have an ice machine that they're taking because they do they leave during the winter. They go somewhere warm, so they have their trailer, and you know they need ice.
mm.
And the only time we'll ever use ice is for cocktails in the evening. And I know that's the only part of the story that nobody wants to believe. Uh, but yeah, it sleeps like 8 people. Not that we have 8 people, but you know, it's fairly good size. It's got a decent view and things along those lines. So we hope it's a good experience. You just never know, but that's all you can hope for. And if it's somewhat not, you kind of make the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Hopefully, you'll get good weather. That's going to be the big key.
that's always going to be questionable anytime you go, you know, to the beach,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in Texas or anywhere along the coast for that matter. Um, my biggest thing is I'm hoping it's not super hot. I mean, you get the breeze off the ocean and everything else during the day to a certain degree, but that doesn't fix the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing that I'm hoping for, that it's not just so overly hot and humid that it's miserable to sit outside and visit. And just because that's what we end up doing anyways. I mean, the whole point of going on vacation is to not really stay inside.
Yeah.
It's to get out, enjoy the beach, whether or not you're going to swim in the ocean or not, but to, peruse the beach and, just whatever. Um, so 2 years ago, we were in Padre and the weather was perfect. Other than like the last day we were there, it was a little hot and humid, but other than that, I mean, it was fantastic. So that's all we can hope for.
Yeah, I think our tent is like it would fit 8, but it wouldn't be 8 card collectors. It might be like 6 card collectors. 8 youth maybe, if you want to be comfortable, but when you get the rain, you don't want to push anything up against the side of the tent, obviously, because then that water leaks through. But we can at least get, if it is raining out, we can put our chairs in the inside, because it's like the zipper in the middle for like a partition. So we can have the cooler in there. We can have the chairs in there. Dog sleeps in there comfortably, and can have a fan put on top of the cooler. But yeah, that last year wasn't bad. I mean, we had a couple days. There were washouts. When we went up the Gunflint Trail, it was nice. But we started seeing stuff like, okay, it's raining where we're at, but over back in Ely, it was downpours where somebody on Facebook, it was literally a river because how hard it was raining down Chapman Street, the street I used to live on. So I'm like, oh, So hopefully it isn't a deluge like that. But I mean, a shower, that's okay. But the big storms, I don't want to deal with that and try to batten everything down. And then you still worry about trees around because, again, it's not just like here's a tent and there's trees like 40 feet away. I mean, you got trees, not like oaks or redwood or something like that, but you still have trees that can potentially fall. So, I don't know. I'd rather have that, though, I guess, than at least with hurricanes, you know something's coming. And if you don't, you're just stupid. I mean, that's not like it just pops up out of nowhere. Or even a tornado. I mean, unless you are just completely blind to horrible weather and changing conditions, or like, oh, we haven't had a rain for about 5 days. Well, maybe there's a front moving through now. But at least with that stuff, you can sort of prepare. The violent winds quickly of a thunderstorm that you don't know if it's going to snap off a tree or not.
Yeah, that could get interesting.
And quickly.
Yep.
What's up?
And then there was 3.
There was.
What's going on, Carlos?
Not too much. Not too much. I was Bobby pinged me a while ago. I was telling him a story. Long story short, the watch world has its own drama that's far more interested in me than the card world drama. So I was catching up on my stories, and then I was getting caught up here before I popped on.
You didn't miss much as far as the topic is concerned. We were just kind of prepping for upcoming vacations and
Nice.
chitter chatter.
That's all right. Seems good. I did catch a piece of that. I think you said you're going off with the family to the beach with the neighbors and stuff. I think that's the deal.
Yep, 2 weeks from 2 weeks from yesterday, we will be on the road.
Good deal. Sounds good.
I hope you ran Bob off.
It's okay. It doesn't matter how fast he runs; he'll still be impeached. He can run as fast as he likes. He's not that quick.
Facts.
Yeah, just
These are the
saying.
facts.
Just saying.
So it will be good to hear somebody else's take on the mid-year goals and stuff, since I historically have always stated that I don't keep them like written down like Dave does. Carlos, I know you've marked some down before in the past, just to make sure that you kind of keep stuff in line. So I'll kind of defer this more to you and Dave for the most part. I will say I'm making progress. I did technically create one. Got my blinders on, and that's obtaining the 2200 mark. I am still making progress. Last I checked, I was 2169 through the half of the year. I thought I was going to actually have a pickup for June. Dave and Carlos both know which one that is. And after further review, I made a rookie mistake and didn't bother to review the checklist before purchasing said card. So now, instead of one, I have two.
Lovely. And what's this one out of again?
It's out of 5. So I have 1 of 5 and 3 of 5.
40%. I like it.
And I know it's one of those in which when you look at it, you think that they're, two different cards because of the design pattern. They're not. But makes me wonder now if
they've all got 5 different designs.
If the ones numbered to 5, for instance, have multiple designs, because these are completely different. But they are still both red orbit diffractors out of 2015 Topps High Tech.
Well, High Tech though does a bunch of variants, so I wouldn't shock me if there's a bunch of patterns out of 5.
Well, and what's interesting when you look at the checklist, so there's only one entry in Beckett for red orbit diffractor number to 5.
Oh, and Beckett's never wrong.
I never said that they were always right. That is for sure.
I know.
But when you look at some of the other variations or the other parallels,
right,
they have specific names, as far as the card design is concerned.
Right.
You'll have like the circuit board or the circles or this, and then you have, once you start getting serial numbers, out of 99. Good song. Let's hopefully no worries. Hopefully we don't get flagged for copyright. I don't think it was long enough. But it's still one of those in which I haven't noticed any other like variations in the other parallels. But after I did my research and I was like, I double checked this, I think 2 days after last week's show. And I'm like, sweet, I did pick up a card. Yes, it's out of my normal range. It's not playing years, but, I like High Tech. It's numbered out of 5. Haven't seen one in a long time. Got it for a decent price. Yeah, I'll go ahead and go for it. And then as I'm looking at my checklist to mark it off, I'm like, shit.
Well, I was going to ask you actually. So that is a package that apparently that I'm waiting for, and I'm going to get a message when it arrives. So I'll pop down to go get it. But just a question on the Topps Tech though, because they did the different versions, right? The different years of Tech. Do they put anything on the back to distinguish patterns at all? Numbers or letters or anything?
No.
Yeah, Topps got crummy of that after a while. At the beginning, they used to like give you a pattern number. So at least you had something to go off of. And then after a while, they just got lazy about it. And I was like, but these are 2 distinct patterns, so they can't be the same card. It's like, give me something.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, with the other parallels, they're very easily able to be picked up. So if it's like spirals, you can look at the card design. If somebody scans it worth a damn, you can tell it's the spiral design. Now, that doesn't mean that the spiral design doesn't have 5 different spiral designs.
That's right.
Because I'm not one who normally picks up multiples of any card. And after I, reviewed the checklist, I'm like, crap, I already have it. So no video for June pickups because what I picked up I already have. And I started looking at them as I was getting ready for the show, and I'm going, these are freaking different.
Yeah, I would at least consider discussing that for a moment, because that can be its own video. Because Top Tech was weird that way. They would do some of that. Because to me, this distinct pattern, because it's very distinct. It's not like a tiny subtlety. It's like, no, physically, if I put them beside each other, they look different. Yeah, exactly. It's like very different. It's not a little bit different. It's To me, it's a variation at least. At the bare minimum, it's a variant.
Well, and it kind of, raised my eyebrow a little bit. It's like, So if I can find some other patterns, and I'm looking more at the serial numbered ones,
Yeah.
the 99s, the 50s, that type of stuff. And if I can get them for a fairly decent price, I may actually pick up a few just to see if there's additional variants.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun of collecting, though. Sometimes it's fun still discovering something. The reason why I poked about the Beckett thing is that our friends at Beckett, sometimes they built their infrastructure so long ago that sometimes they'll do stuff where, and we've talked about it a little bit before, there are cards that they insist that are out there that it's like, I've talked to other collectors, they don't exist. We know they don't exist, but they're on the checklist. And if you don't know that and do not reference other collectors who have paid attention to this, it's like you'd be chasing a ghost for the rest of your life. You're like, you're never going to find it. It was never issued.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the flip side of that, there are cards that were manufactured and produced that are not listed in Beckett either.
Yeah, correct.
So it's both sides.
Yeah. In hockey, UD Black is like that. Not in the sense that they don't exist or do exist. It's just they were, after UD Black stopped being a standalone product and got put into other things, it became really difficult to identify. Because it's like, it says UD Black everywhere, but there is no 2018, 2019 UD Black. It's inside of another set. So it's like you go searching for it and you try searching UD Black, nothing. You try searching this, nothing. It's like, guys, I know the card exists. I have multiple copies of it in different patterns and different foil types. It's like, so what is it? It's not UD Black because that isn't a thing that exists.
Didn't they start throwing that in like the cup?
I think they threw Exquisite in the cup, and then UD Black. I feel like SPX or a different product. They threw it in there, but it's one of those things. Like, they're nice looking cards still. They're nice because they usually use the paint pen on the black background. It's cool, but it's like, guys, as soon as you stop making it a standalone product, I'm like, I don't know what this is. I know it's UD Black because it says UD Black on the back, but it's like, it's not UD Black though. You put it in something else. It's like, give me the actual product that you put this in because I don't know unless I'm looking it up.
Well, Chronicles, you at least know what to expect in Chronicles. Because, in Chronicles, they throw everything in there. Mosaic, Prism, regular Panini, Score. They like run the gambit in Chronicles.
Yep. But in traditional Beckett fashion, if you look at the baseball thing, they will not write the word Chronicles, and they'll list those other products separately, as if they existed separately.
There's your package.
Yep, beer package.
No worries. No, the Oracle does not know, so that would be Vinny. We'll pass the title to Vinny on that one. But yeah, it's one of those in which it'll be interesting to see. I'm not going to go for any more numbered to 5. I will say, if for any reason anybody's interested in the one numbered to 3 or numbered 3 of 5, let me know, because I really don't care to have doubles. I know others don't, have that preference or that requirement. Dave, Carlos, even Vinny. Can't speak for anybody else because those I know for sure have multiples of serial numbered variations and some not so serial numbered variations. But it is one of those in which I am interested to see. So I'll start doing some peeking because there are still some variations that I don't have. Just because it got to the point to where, I couldn't trust what people were listing stuff as what the variation was, because some of them are very subtle. And if it's a crappy scan and somebody says it's this, variation or whatever, you have to take their word for it. And, not that you're talking expensive cards, but, you do that too many times, it's like you feel like you're spinning your wheels, and then it becomes wasteful. So over the next few months, I'll definitely look into picking up a few of the serial numbered variations and see if they actually do have some variants built into some of those. Because I'm now interested. And it could be just the ones numbered to 5, just because it's lower serial numbered. Mm-hmm. But who knows? And like I said, I just happened to notice it right before we went, before I logged on. I'm like, yeah, I need to go pull my version. So I went into the collection. I pulled my version. I pulled it out, and I started looking at them. I'm going, am I missing something? So I went and double checked the checklist, and it's like there's only one listing. And I'm like, those are both red orbit diffractors. I mean, there's no question about it, because now based on what Beckett says, of course. So we'll see. But yeah, I own 2 of the 5.
And that's, I hate to give Panini credit, but that what they did with I think it's Revolution. At least in the back, you knew if it was like an asteroid or cubics or whatever the heck they are, or whatever parallel it is. I wish they would do that with, and again, I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. Mosaic. That's another one that I wish they'd do that with, because I don't know what's what. There's a couple that look really fancy, and I know those are the rarer ones, but I don't know if it's a red or a blue or whatever, because you have a red and a blue with it, and I don't understand. Oh, it's a red. Well, there's red and blue. Then the blue and red, it's blue. What's the difference?
Because then you have also like red orange and orange red and all that kind of crap in some of those deviations. And without opening enough product, I guess, you don't really understand, how the color patterns work that dictate that variation. I don't know. But it's a struggle, and I've stayed away from Mosaic as far as like trying to increase the rainbow, because Mike 25 Modown 25 sent me the one care package that had multiple variations in it, and it's like, do I actually have the orange blue reactive or the blue orange? Which one is it? And and part of that, like I said, it's my own fault, because I hate duplicates. And if I didn't care as much from a duplicate perspective, it wouldn't bother me as much. But on the flip side, I mean, I probably have 2,000 duplicates just over collection purchases and things along those lines. And, at some point, if I could find a other Terrell Davis collector that goes the entire spectrum that I do, so to speak, then, I'll sit on them.
I just did my first TikTok in the middle of Kroger.
My wife just did her first TikTok. Wow, I'm going to have to go watch that at some point.
All because of your freaking stupid Coors Light.
I guess it was on sale even more.
It was, but
It's important for sponsorship here. Like, we can't lose the sponsorship. This is critical.
it was funny because it was
Well, you can listen to my wife's story.
it was a young black girl. And I was giving shit because I took 2 cases up there and I said, this is cheap. Can you override it and let me get both of these cases so I don't have to come back here again and cause you no trouble? She said, let me see what I can do. She tried putting the things in there, whatever. She said, it ain't letting me override it. I said, fine. She said, that's funny that you just bought some Coors Light. I said, why is that funny? She said, because my fiance is a black man. He drinks Coors Light while all his buddies that are black give him shit and says that's a white man's beer. I said, oh, she thought it funny because I'm white buying Coors Light. She said, no, will you do a TikTok with me real quick? We got to do that. And she went on there and she did this whole little scene about that. She did this TikTok that she doesn't see it as a white man's beer. She sees it as the beer that everybody likes, and we one and the same. And she did one of these, so I had to do the fucking TikTok.
Unity through Coors Light. Who would have thought?
Yep. Hashtag. Somebody hashtag it. Let's go.
In Canada, y'all could have just said we all drink water. It's the same. It's the same point. Like, we get to the same result. Yes, we got taps. We could do that. It's okay. Cryptogriff knows.
Yeah. Well, eventually, eventually, come August,
Yeah,
we may have
Yellings. Yeah.
we may have a new sponsor.
Nice.
We'll just
TikTok.
have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
So I was going with my light beer today. This one's 7.1, so going with the light one.
Yes, I don't do the micro brews and all that other kind of stuff. I will say I did quite a few. So we had a cookout on Saturday and invited some of the neighbors or whatever. We just grilled hot dogs and burgers and played some cornhole and stuff along those lines. And my neighbor across the street, who's a big like bourbon / whiskey drinker,
Nice.
that's normally what he drinks on on the rocks. Well, he was drinking beer because we started at like 4. He didn't want to start drinking the whiskey, and he always gets a lot of these like local breweries and some of these micro brews and stuff along those lines. And I think I had 4 different IPAs on a Saturday night. So I mean, I do branch out from time to time. I don't stay true to form. Not that boring. Okay, maybe I am, but I still branch out a little bit. I did it in Canada. I was drinking Canada beer when I was there. Damn it.
So just out of curiosity, is the Canada beer white man's beer or black man? It's like, did we have distinctions?
No.
I feel like we don't measure people that way. We measure people by the amount of maple syrup they drink. The appropriate way to do it.
Yeah, and I didn't drink any. I did drink quite a bit of scotch, though.
No, that's fair. I know, Bobby. I said light. I literally said light. I covered this already. Chill out.
Yes, y'all's alcohol percentage is higher than it is here in the States. It's not my fault.
Yeah, well, 7.1% is because a microbrewer will tend to do that. They tend to do that more. So anything 5 is pretty much the standard. The light beers are all like in the 3.5, 4 range, whatever. The 5 is a standard, run of the mill, you just everyday beer. And then if you go to like a microbrewer, so an IPA like this is 7.1, is kind of that range. You'll get like 8, 9, 10 plus. Just depends. Depends on who does it.
Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the percentage on the ones that I was trying. One of them wasn't so good. The others not too shabby, but it's some of it's that flavored shit though too.
Yeah.
One of them was peach flavored IPA, which actually wasn't too bad. It wasn't overly peach, but it wasn't, you at least got the flavor. It wasn't horrendous.
Yeah, this time of year, they'll pitch a lot of those with citrus, especially a lot of citrusy flavored ones, which I get. Like on a patio, I could buy it. I still prefer my regular beers and stuff, but it's like, look, and if it's super hot and you're out on a patio, like I can see a citrusy beer. That makes sense. It's refreshing. Like you've got the right idea.
Yeah,
I'm not a
I
fan.
get that too.
I've tried the Leinenkugels, like the Summer Shandy. Trista likes that. I am not a fan. I don't like the citrus with it.
Yeah, it's a very acquired taste. Like if you're not into it, you're not going to be into it. It's not going to work for you.
I tend to go to the Killian's Irish Red or Labatt's when I drink beer, which it's getting less and less frequent. I mean, I stick with my Mike's cranberry lemonade. It's not too sweet. It's just enough of that bitter. And when it was hot out, because Saturday we watched at her place in Gilbert the 4th of July parade, which is usually on the 3rd, leads into the fireworks. And I mean, I put it in a silver insulated type thing, thinking, oh man, I don't know if we can drink on the sidewalk or whatever during the parade. Well, far be it for me to judge the people of Gilbert. I mean, that literally people are double fisting drinks and coolers and sitting with bottles, and I was just like, oh, maybe next time I'll bring a cooler. Because that one went very quickly, being like 85, 90 degrees out. I'm like, by the time we got to where one of my buddies was at, it's pretty much gone. I'm like, this could be a problem. So yeah, those are good. Those are refreshing. I'm not my brother, who's out in Vegas now. He is big into like the IPAs.
Right.
I mean, he is just huge into like constantly talking about them. Like, yeah, I'm good. Well, this has a real mellow flavor. Blah. I'm like, whatever. Just where's something that normal people just want to drink. I don't care about where it's crafted or 6 people on a boat in like the Mississippi River crafted it over like a two-week period. Give me something people know about.
Yeah, Dave's not into 6 people on a boat doing that. If it's 5, he's cool. If it's 7, he's cool. But 6 is a bridge too far, my friends.
Yes.
Inappropriate. So is this what? Hold on, when because I know he had to incorporate mediums into it. But here's my question. So if that's the case, it's like, so is this where we pan back to Crypto Griff's house, where it's just like cases upon cases of IPAs and a closet full of schmediums? Ed, is there something you would like to confess? Edward, Crypto.
Yes, I know everybody makes fun of me drinking Coors Light, but that's what I prefer to drink. At least it's not Michelob Ultra.
Valid. I'll give you that. I think that's a reasonable retort. I think that's fair. I'll give it to you.
I'm not a fan of Coors. I don't like the taste. But I can drink on occasion. Miller I can drink on occasion. It's just one of those in which I prefer the way that the light beer tastes over the normal run-of-the-mill stock names.
Mm-hmm.
When I do choose to, I'll drink Samuel Adams Boston Lager from time to time. I do like a good Foster's, but I like my Foster's on tap. And the only place that we can get that around here is go to Outback. But I do like Foster's. Foster's is good.
Fair enough. I was just so when Dave was mentioning that, the only time I can remember the beer evaporating that way was when a buddy and I went to Buffalo go take a Bills game. But the thing is, because he's a moron, I say this with love, he's a moron. He wanted to go during the cold time of year because, again, he's a moron. So we go to Buffalo. Western Europe can get plenty cold. This is not an issue. So of course we go in December because moron. Did I mention moron? Just so we're clear, moron. So we go there, and it's so damn cold. So we buy cases of beer for the tailgate and everything. We get cases, plural cases. We think, that'll be more than enough. We'll take some back with us. That was the plan. It's so damn cold, the labels freeze because of condensation of things. And at a certain point, we have pictures of us with the thing. And the label had actually peeled off because of the ice. So it had completely frozen to the point the peel itself just fell off the bottle. So we're sitting there, and I'm sitting there and I'm drinking away. We're having burgers and stuff and drinking, and before the game and then after the game. And then I'm sitting there like, this is about the stupidest thing you could have come up with. This is idiocy. I'm freezing half to death. It's like I'm having to grab more beer. It's like, grab me another one. And then he goes to the back and he goes to the case and he goes, Carlos, I think we just polished off like a case and a half. And I'm like, it's like, that's stupid. That makes no sense whatsoever. And then we go take a look and take inventory. It's like, look at all the empty bottles. It's like, well, goddamn. It's like, did I mention it's fucking cold? It's like, I needed just to try to stay warm. That day, so that beer was all 5%, and we treated it like it was water. I was like, I need something to keep me warm here. I'm dying.
That's completely the opposite of what I would have expected.
No, it was hysterical. I just stared at it. I was like, well, I guess the good news is that I feel fine because I'm freezing half to death. It's like I sobered right up. Why? Fucking cold. That's what sobered me up. It completely negated the effects of the beer. Alas. So there you go. That's my story of us still getting in Buffalo in December. Exactly, Bob. Exactly. I thought since Dave mentioned, I thought I would bring that anecdote to the table. And it plays into football, so he said we got both of you included in this. We're inclusionary here.
There you go. It's all about inclusion.
Nailed it.
We try.
Nailed it, guys. Nailed it.
Yep. Got to use the buzzword too. Stay true to form.
Absolutely.
So, Dave, I don't know if you want to go into your list or you want to hand it over and let Carlos kind of go through some of his stuff.
Yeah, your call, Dave. It's you're driving. So what do you want to do? I can share a couple stories. I've got a handful of cards around me, and I can grab some more. It's not a problem. I definitely got a stack, so it's not an issue.
Guests first.
Sure. So I would say, as far as lists are concerned, I would say I'm actually a little ahead of schedule. I had a similar idea. One of the goals for the year was to try to get to 2,000 unique cards, but I knew I would blow past that. So I figured that's an easy one. We'll just hit that one, and then we'll bypass it. Steve and I are actually pretty close. I'm at 2142 as of today. Another card came in today, so we're right in the same ballpark. Now, I have a ComC thing that was supposed to ship last week, and then apparently this week. And so I figured by December, for something that should already be packed up, theoretically that'll come in. And if it does, that's about 40, 50 cards. So that'll get me right on the precipice of 2,200, give or take, by that point already. So I shifted a little bit of my attention to some vintage because I'm working on some of those sets for the year. I want to kind of take the summer not off, but at the same time I wanted to kind of focus on some of the other projects for the summer. But during the first part of the year, it was gangbusters. It was all kinds of stuff. And right now it's a bunch of focusing a little baseball, picking up those Sotos and stuff. So it's been kind of fun. And then I showed it on the Instagram, so I'll show this one. This was the new one that came in, so that's 2142. And Dave knows a little bit about these guys. So there's actually two variants. So it's 99 2000 Aurora. The complete players, it's it's out of 25. The thing is, they got the hobby version, which is this one, and then they got the retail version, which is a blue one. So Vinny actually tipped me off on this one, and I thought it was actually the blue one because I already had the blue one for out of 25 for a while. But I figured, okay, what the heck? So I click on it though, and I see it's this one, and it's there for like a buy it now, and I'm like, because that completes the four of them, and then I'll do a little group shot of them this weekend for that. But I was like, nope, these don't come around every day. Even Beckett in its infinite wisdom, the way you know something is a little bit more expensive is if even Beckett at this date with all the behind they are with it, Beckett thinks this is a $200 card, and I got it for less than Beckett thinks it is, which tells you where we're at. But these are tough, and it actually thinks this one's more expensive than the retail version, which is also out of 25, which seems odd, but. Mind you, I had the retail version years ago, so clearly it was easier for me to track down than this one. So I was very happy to pick that one up. So that was a good one. And then, yeah, I got a box here.
Yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
when
so
Vinny showed it. I
that's one
put that on
box.
the watch list because I'm like, because you didn't say anything. I'm like, oh, I don't know if he's going to go after it. And then like a day, whatever, 2 days later, I looked and I'm like, oh, ended. I'm like, oh, hope he got it because
Oh yes.
those-
No. As soon as I listen, that one, I've only seen a handful of those. I've only seen a handful of those crop up. But it's been a lot of to try to get to that goal. It's been a lot of picking up some random stuff, like even this stuff. Like it's jersey cards. It's like stacks of them. It's like, how much stuff do you want? But that's kind of the way it works. And sometimes you'll see stuff that sneaks up on you. So that's a 101. I like the shiny foil.
Mhm.
But the thing is, like, they hide away a lot of the stuff. There's so much of it that it's like it kind of blends into the background after a while. So it's like, yeah. And this one I've shown before. That's the 2 of 2.
Oh.
Bunch of nice patch pieces. So it's one of those things. Like, it's a stack of it. I know you got tons, Dave, so I can always come back to the box if you want. Here you go. I'll go patriotic for you, Dave. This is a little belated 4th of July for you. For your country. Here's 4 of them. All American players, all the patches, all the way down to 2 of 2. The most common one, I think, is the 5 of 5. So 2 5 of 5s, a 3 of 3, and a 2 of 2. And these are the ones with all the nice patches. There you go.
Nice.
America. Just for you guys.
So how's some of your other like goals though from your lists? Like I know you had stuff related to, some of your vintage sets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall if you had anything for any of like Soto or anything along those lines, but I was pretty sure you also had something for Jamie Benn though too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think for this year I took it easy on the Jamie Benn because it was one of those things where with Ben I like just picking up what I like, so I didn't put any specific numbering on it. I did a couple of different like mini quests related to Medano. It was the 2,000 cards. It was a certain amount of jersey cards, certain amount of autograph cards. So I think 200 autographs. I think 500 memorabilia cards, and we're close on both of those. And we'll get there. Memorabilia cards are pretty easy to still come by. There's still plenty out there. When I did the breakdown of the different eras, post playing days in current year, I looked at it, and there's like a big gap in the last 5 years of his career where I need like 1,500 cards. So there's so much room to exploit, like because there's parallels upon parallels. That was the kind of the story of the 2000s and the 2010s. Is like, okay, so how many parallels can we put in here? It's kind of like what you have there with the Terrell Davis. It's like, who would have even thought to think? It's like, yeah, it's out of 5. It's like, yeah, there's 2 different patterns. Wait, is that even a thing? It's like, might be. Question mark. Maybe. But that's where you're at. And then post playing days, forget about it. Every year that goes by, they add like another 50 or 100 cards. One of the things that kind of became an unofficial goal of mine was that for playing days, I want to get to 50%. And I'm at 49.7. And I'm waiting for that stuff to come in from ComC. Like I said, by December, theoretically, if somebody oils the machine and turns it back on, maybe, and we can do that, then I'll get it, and then I should be able to blow past that. But 50% of all the playing days cards is awesome. That's something that has kind of just been sitting there. It's very front loaded, because if I go to the first 10 years, almost 90% of the first 5 years, which means I only need 21 cards total for the print run of the first 5 years of his career, period. And I need 121 of the next 5 years leading into 99-2000. There were a lot of cards in 99-2000. So being within about 100 cards is actually real good. And this was a contributor. This one knocked one of those off the list because I'm left with stuff like this. It's not like the run-of-the-mill stuff anymore. I'm out of regular commons and cheap inserts, and it's like, it's tougher stuff. So stuff like those little mini goals kind of keep things interesting, but I become a lot pickier. It's one of those things where unless I need it, or unless it meets one of those little objectives, it's kind of like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to pick that stuff up. I see a lot of stuff that I pass on all the time now, because it's one of those things where like, look, you bring me a Z Gold, we're talking. Otherwise, it's like, no, if it's one of the one that fits like the playing days thing, that'd be really cool. I'd be happy to pick it up, especially that first 10 years. Because 142 cards for the first 10 years of his career, over 1,000 cards, I'd have them all. Which is kind of like 10 years worth of players' cards. It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I did a quick check on mine because, Terrell had a shorter career, of course, than Madonna did. But I just did a quick peek. I'm at 61.69% of playing years.
Strong.
But still, it's still a crap ton left to pick up. When you look at the total number of cards, though, for even that span of time, it's still, hundreds.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of those things. That's why I break it up into 2 pieces, because you take the whole thing, it's this big number, but then playing days is just shy of 3,800 cards. So it's like, that's a lot. But being at almost 50% of that means you're getting close to 2,000 just playing days. For me, it's like, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking, it's like, it only took 25 years. I've been at it a little while. We're getting there.
And that's, I hearken back to, I'm thankful I don't actively search for after 03, 04 for a Brodeur, because we've exchanged messages and text with like the cup stuff, the notable names or whatever it is, and it's just like $300, $400, $500 for basically a dual patch auto numbered to 35 or to 30 or to 50, or like, they're great looking cards, but that is just an absolutely astronomical amount. They're cool looking, but they're not ultra rare. If that's something to 5, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the first month trickled out for me, I thought I was going to have 3 of the top 10 until I actually looked at that Starquest Gold and how beat up that thing was.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, at least the seller was kosher with that, saying, "Hey, you might want to take a look at the corner."
No, I remember that story when you mentioned it. It was good of them to be upfront about it, because in the current day, it would have been a return anyway. It would have been those like, The thing is, in that sense, it's a seller being self-preservation because it's like, look, do you really want the card? Because this is what's going on with it, just so you know. And if
Yeah,
you're still cool, we're good to finish the deal. Otherwise, save me the hassle of having to wait for you to get it and return it back to me.
yeah. So that would have been nice picking up and I know I have it amongst all the, picking up this one to
Yep.
basically start the year along with I don't know if I took it out, but the mirror gold from 6-7. That was also nice, especially since I think one on bids had just went for what 153-ish, and I got this for about 100. So, and it's 8.5. It's peeled. I don't have to worry about peeling it, which I would have on those because that peel on the 96 sevens are just clunky and god awful. I mean, they're so chunky on the card. Whereas that 97, 98 at least flows a little better with the card.
Well, and those that year, I would frustrate some people because I'd be like, look, my idea would be to have two copies, and I would have one peeled and one unpeeled. And that would be a situation where could be a circumstance to put it in maybe a graded holder, but pick one for collecting purposes because it's like, no, it'll look good in the presentation. Have one with peel, have one without peel, and then you've got the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
You're not having to decide, and then you kind of win.
Yeah.
But I know that you build out that big list. For me, it was just it's kind of we talked about it a little bit. I'm at the point where like if I was to do a top 50 list, I have like 49 out of 50. It's pretty much the Z gold. There's only a handful that I could think of that would go in there, and they would have been just outside of the top 50. But now they get bumped up to the top because everything else is acquired. I got that one. Especially for anything in that 90s period was always my favorite stuff. Anything beyond that, cool to have. Playing days is priority, but that latter portion of it is so front loaded in the first 15 years because that was my favorite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That backloaded period, now I'm getting caught up on it. But the good part is that leaves a lot of, there's like 1,400 cards to go after. It's plenty.
Yeah.
So you can chip away at it, but it's not as big a priority. It's one of those things that's like, actually, I can give my wallet a bit of a break. That's kind of great. Kind of chill for the summer. Take a summer vacation on the wallet.
Yeah. Divert those funds to the sets or picking up a soda here and there.
Yeah. Well, there's been some good ones in right now because he's not lighting the world on fire. He's still playing okay, to be honest. If you actually look, it's like, look, if your guy's struggling, he's hitting 270.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen worse, and that's with him struggling. Like everybody knows he's struggling. It's like, well, Adam Dunn couldn't hit 270 when he was good.
Yeah.
So it's like
3/4 of the league right now can't hit 270.
Correct. So that's what I mean. Like if that's you struggling, I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
That was another one.
Yep.
Because I'd seen a couple of gold medallions pop of other players, but not Brodeur. And again, that was one of the first. You remember a lot of those sets, even if you duck away from whatever sport it is. You remember a few sets. You remember, especially hockey-wise, if you collected anywhere in that 90s. You remember all the Doofricks from like the Pinnacle brands, especially the Mask. And you remember that Ultra, that Padman, because the year before had all that gold foil and the embossing, but that was the die cut. And that was, I remember seeing that in the Beckett or the Sports Cards magazine and just being like, wow, this looks awesome. And a gold medallion.
Mm-hmm.
When Ultra started doing here's your one per box insert, now here's your one per case gold medallion. I'm just like, well, to see that, I think, what was it? Super Bowl night. Somebody had just like a big Brodeur lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like 10, 12 pictures. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look through here just to see. There might be something tucked away. And I think the second or third picture, there that was. I'm like, Sent him a message quick. I'm like, hey, let me know if you'll take like, I don't know what I offered, something obscene. $80, $85 for it. I'm like, let me know if you'll take that. I will buy that right now. Mm-hmm. Send you funds immediately. You just let me know. And so finally waited for him and waited. He didn't put it up, and I think the next morning when I woke up, what was it? Probably about 3:30. I saw it on there. I'm like, okay, bam, hit it right away. Just because that was another one. It might not be the most valuable. Most collectors might not. They'll be like, well, I want a cup. I want like an SP Authentic auto. I want some of them emblems out of Be a Player. I want those. I wanted that. That was top 10 clear. That might have been top 5. I don't even know where the list stood at with that, but that was one that one way or another, that was coming home. And then I ended up getting another one, I think for like 25 shipped. So, not that I want to pick up doubles all the time, but when they're at that price point.
Not that you don't want to pick up doubles all the time. Can we refer to the Josh Johnson collection just really quickly as a point of order?
Not all the time.
Dumba.
Some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Some. Allegedly. Where was that at?
Let them panic, Ed. This is our time. This is our time.
Number 5 on the top 60, which turned out to be like a top 90.
I was gonna say, yeah. that top listing kept getting longer.
115 after I put all the other ones in there too, but yeah, number 5 for that one. And again, it's above like the Mirror Gold, which again, they say there's 30, 22, whatever it is. It's more than that, but something like this where everyone else would want something like this, probably if you're a Brodeur collector, you're wanting the Eagle and Brodeur.
I did like those Sign of the Times at the time. I remember those. They were good cards.
I'm
hard sign I'm a big fan of. So it's one of those things like it's good.
Because I mean, there's this one too. I mean, there was a little run there where I had, I think that month of April, just some major hits.
Now that's a good one. There's I think those are out of 25.
Yep.
Yeah, the triples are out of 25. I know there is I believe it's Pavel Bure. I want to say John Leclerc and Medano. That's the triple. And the Pavel Bure correctors are fanatical.
Yeah.
Like those are the guys that I need to worry about with that card. I haven't seen it in a very long time. I know a couple of collectors who have it because they're Pavel Bure collectors. So they have it for the Pavel Bure piece. Tough to come by. That is a tough piece to come by.
Those are some of the folks I love following on Instagram. I think there's I don't know if he shows them all the time. There's a Richie Rocket. I think he's been on, I don't know, somebody. I don't know if he's on Jeremy.
He was,
or somebody.
Yeah, Richard Hope. Yeah, he was on there with Jeremy. Mm-hmm. He does the custom cards too.
He was one. There's a couple guys in Russia. I mean, they are just, I sit there and I look at every time they post. It's like, how much money have you spent, even if it isn't today's market? 15, 20 years ago to get these cards. You're not just paying like 50, 80 bucks. There's a lot more collectors back then wanting the Russian Rocket, Solani, Korea. This was one more. I know I paid strong, but there again.
Yeah, the high gloss. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's not like they pop up. I won't be able to see.
Yeah. Which number is that one? Out of 10 or out of
25?
25 on that one. Gotcha.
I think this was the first year they went the 03-04.
That sounds about right because I think wasn't there out of 25 that one. I feel like there was an out of 10, but maybe there's a different year where they also had out of 5s.
Most afterwards, I know, like in this last decade, it's been I think out of 10. So, and just to see that and have that one come up and quickly negotiate a deal. I think that was on a Sunday night. And then I know I overpaid on this, the Platinum team or whatever.
Yeah, but they got the prismatic kind of foil on it. It's classic. Because they use the same kind of like little star pattern on prismatic autos for Be a Player. And they also use it for the Sixth Sense Wizards, which is, I think it was my top card that I picked for the Medanos was the Sixth Sense Wizard, which I think surprised a couple of folks. The guys, I really like that rainbow, that thing with the stars on it. That pattern on it I'm a huge fan of it. It's a personal preference thing. I'm a big fan of it. I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah, that I remembered seeing. There's two, I think. One was on ComC, and then some other guy had one that was graded like a 9, 8 or 9, and he had it for like 249 or 299 best offer. Like, that's too much. The guy from the Czech Republic had it last June. One I underestimated, and the Score Dealer's Choice Artist Proof, which that and the 98.99 Black Diamond Emerald, I really regret not going harder after, but I still can use the I didn't know any better at that time how rare they were. I mean, I look and now I'm like, yeah, I should have probably doubled my max, but that was one that surprised me because I'm like, it's Score, nobody cares. I mean, they're cool looking, but it's Score. Well,
that's the beauty of it. That's how the UD Choice, StarQuest Gold became a thing. It's like everybody's like, UD Choice, whatever. There's billions of cases of that. Well, you're right. That's what made them so hard to pull.
Yep.
It's like, and they just didn't come up that often. And when they did, it was like after a while, some people just kind of tucked them away. Once they had them, that was like, they're just going to sit here and they're going to pile up. Some people did the sets, and those get stashed away. That's gone. That's why I thought it was very funny when we had on the text message thread when I was joking about the now I know definitively where that Medano country of origin is. It's like, oh, another Medano collector. It's like, you're not buddies. It's like, we were never friends. It's like, I'm sorry. Back in that time, it's like there was this very simple tactic. Either I win or I bankrupt you in the process. That is my goal in life. What can I do to bankrupt you? I would like you to foreclose on your house. I want your wife to leave you. I want your life to end. Get out of the way.
Yes, that is.
We're not friendly over here. Now I have to. It's like, oh, now I have to be nice. Oh, this sucks. This version of collecting blows. I like when we were at war. Those were the good times. Single tier.
Yeah, that's. Like I've said before, the Dog and Suds, that eBay user with the Northcut stuff. I wish they had back 20 years ago completed auctions for Northcut, and you'd see the two bidders bidding like $70 on a Northcut card. Why? It's Dennis Northcutt. Why? Two people.
But Dave, don't you think? I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on an island here. That's okay. That's fine. I can live with that. But I'm curious. You got to admit, it was kind of fun having a legitimate competition, not being like, oh no, please, no, I insist, you bid on it. No, you bid on it.
Unless it's something where I have something and somebody else is going after it and it isn't Josh Johnson, because I don't care if I've got 9 of the 10 copies of a card. If that 10th one comes up and it's not a buy it now or best offer, I'm going to exhaust every possibility I can to get it.
Correct. That is the correct answer, Dave.
I do not care about your feelings. I do not care about your set.
Can we just stop it? I don't care about your feelings. Like, preach, Archer. Yes, this is all I want.
Because I know it's the same with what is a red ink auto, Allen and Ginter, and that was the only one I've said it before. Right. That's the only one I sold, because again I was friends with the guy. I knew he actually put together these sets, so, and there was a thing in place to get another copy, money plus said card. So that's been the only time. I don't regret it, but I know I won't see it because I'm sure he'll keep the set together for as long as he lives. But yeah, everybody else, suck on rocks. I don't care. That doesn't matter. You want the card? Bid more than me. This Correct. One, the numbering there.
Yeah, there were a couple of versions. I think Vinny showed me there's a seller that's putting up a couple of groups of 3 of them, including some of the really limited number versions of them. They're not asking for an insignificant sum, and I'm like, okay, it's a cool card, but it's like, settle down, sir. Settle down. I'm gonna need you to settle down just a little bit.
Yeah, that one. Early on, I had missed it, and I think it went for 17, and that one was just an absolutely atrocious listing. Mm-hmm. It was like Fleer Brodeur clear insert, Okay.
Technically accurate. I would say parallel, but not completely off.
I wasn't going to bid a lot, but now that you've pretty much pigeonholed yourself into a corner where nobody's going to see it, I'll take a run at it, and I won that fairly cheap. I've lost, I think, this one. I don't know if it's a 2000, 2001, or 0102.
Well, what does it say on the top underneath the logo?
Well, it says 01.
So then it'd be 2000, 2001 probably. Is it $299?
This one is not.
Oh, that one's not numbered?
I think the 99 2000s were the
You're right.
299.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then the 03 04s were the 99.
Yeah, because you can also tell. So two things: you can tell from the bottom, and then whenever you want to figure out the Pacific sucks for this, but when you want to tell the year, basically take a year back from the year underneath the logo. That's why I think it's 2000, 2001, probably.
Because on the back during and like Kramer's ramblings, it says 99 2000. He's talking about like the second Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the year after that.
So that one was good to find, and then another recent one.
Yeah, those are cool.
Sparkle version of the all rookie, which whatever the other version I lost the first time, God, that thing got relisted probably like 4 or 5 times. So I was like, well, I'm glad I got mine. I mean, I'll show a couple more, and then I'll get back to you, Carlos. That second copy of that one, a recent.
Nice, the Dumba.
Which stuff like that, I mean, I like Josh Johnson.
Was that Prime, Dave?
Huh?
Was that Prime?
Yes. I mean,
no, they made nice patches. That's the only reason why I was asking.
God, that they did that well too. I hate to give them lots and lots of credit, but at the same time, they did it right.
And we have Vinny representing with the backwards cap.
That's right.
Look at you.
And then I think
the problem is it's fitted, Vinny. You didn't do it. You didn't do it full route.
No, I've been doing this since 1993. So
there you go.
the one that I always try to pick up and have a modest number of 101s just because, get it right. Be like the wonky Dennis the Menace.
No, actually, he's a lot closer to the alignment. Like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it on the live stream. What made me laugh about it is that I have a feeling it's becoming self-aware. Because I noticed in the last video it was a lot better aligned suddenly. And he corrected himself when he was doing the bit about talking about a card. He goes, I know some of you are going to say it's not the same card. I'm like, are you watching the show? Are you? It's like, are you taking notes, Steps Man? Is that what's happening right now?
Mine is not a snapback, though. Just FYI, it's Velcro.
Velcro. There you go. We'll let Bobby decide what the pecking order is on that one.
Or
He is the arbiter of the levels.
I usually try to put down 10 Josh Johnson 101s, 5 or 10 somewhere in there, because they just don't pop up. I know I picked off a lot at the end of last year, and I think with the purchase or the sale I made in August with some of those plates on ComC, I'm just like, screw it, just $20-25, whatever it is, and just get them. And now they're sitting out there in a building that you can see from space. And I'm probably going to wait till like 2027 before requesting my order for 2031. But that was the one that.
Wow, the booklet.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think I got a super this year too, and I don't know. But
you got a few supers this year, Dave. I know of at least 2.
Wow. 2 then.
Well, it's not a super. It's not a super, but part of the reason that I'm chilling out on purchases is that I have my eye on something in that vein. No idea if I'm going to end up pulling the trigger on it, but I figure if I'm going to, I need to kind of marshal the forces first. But if I do, it'll be a fun little ad. That'll be a fun video to make if I get to add it.
Give in to Give in to the purchase, Carlos. Give in to the purchase. Just
I could. I could right now. But it's one of those things where it's like my preference right now would be I ran the numbers. Part of the reason that I planned a summer relaxation period. Yeah, I'm going to buy some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to work on some of the projects. But my plan was to kind of chill out for the summer a little bit. Relax. It's supposed to be kind of a relaxing time. I would like to relax during the summer a little bit. I don't feel any sense of... I like to live the low-stress life. So part of that is going to be that if I get anything, I would like to have some PayPal credit already built up. So maybe there'll be some sales, and then I would love the proceeds to come from already existing PayPal credit. That would make me feel good because then I can continue working on some of my... I got home projects too. So it's one of those things like, yeah, we got all the collecting's never going to stop. It's going to chip away, but I can chill for the summer. It's like, no, I could just make some content. I'll make some videos and do it. There doesn't need to be a pickle video every week. I've been doing every week for like almost 2 straight years without a week off. It's been pretty good. So it's like, we've been on a good run, guys. We can chill for a couple of weeks. It'll be fine.
Oh, there we go. Dave rocking it now.
Nicely done, Dave. Nicely done.
Making moves, only good deals.
I wish that freaking Dabsman had been around back in my heyday. I'll use your guys' vernacular. It's like in my peak time, I had like 40 pro-fitted caps, man. I could have gone through a bunch of them during that video. I could have literally cut from one pro-fit hat to another, to another, to another. I go, you peasant! This is how you do it.
Come on, Carlos. You had a perfect opportunity to use the phrase and you failed miserably. You went with vernacular.
I don't feel like doing it when you want me to. That's not the time.
I know.
It's got to happen like right at the moment you're in the middle of like a very valid point. It's like, here. Now's the time.
Yes, I know. We've come to...
It's like the Uno reverse card. It's like the Uno reverse card. We have to wait. Wait for it. Make the people wait.
Well, you knew I was going to call it out, though, just because I can.
Oh, yeah.
For reasons.
For reasons. That's right. I'm actually curious now. I was doing a quick... let's do a quick ComC update. Oh, good news. The machine that got turned on for a couple hours. It finally moved down a little bit. 28,257 cards in the way.
So
we started the day at 28,500. That's 250 cards since 12 hours ago. We're making amazing progress, bros. We're doing it. It's happening.
So in those 200 cards, there's some of mine from eBay because
Possibly.
I got notification several moments ago that 32 of my cards are shipping from ComC.
Lovely.
That were placed on the 30th of June.
People think I'm joking about this. I'm literally taking screenshots throughout like the day because I want to basically because all my screen grabs have the time. They've got a timestamp on them. So I'm going to be like, guys, this estimated ship date has moved from last Friday now to the 8th. The 8th is the current version. And by the way, this is after a month and a half. They haven't even shipped it officially yet. It hasn't hit the shipping part yet officially. They just keep moving. It's like, guys, you're not fooling me. I know the date keeps moving. I'm watching it move. It was the 4th of July over the weekend. On Friday, it was the 4th of July. Now it's the 8th of July. I'm watching that date move further and further into the future.
Crazy.
Don't worry, they're fixing it, bros. They're fixing it.
This is why I stay away from it right now. Because I could definitely reach my target if I wanted to. I'm just refusing to put myself through the agony.
It's ridiculous because it's not like they're huge cards, but I would like to have them. Like, it's one of those things, like, it would fill in some holes in the binder. It'd be really awesome. Because a bunch of them are like those 90s ones that I still need. I can actually fill that section. And I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. It'll be great. When it arrives, it'll be great. Whenever that is in the future. I think you know this one, Dave. I actually picked up an extra copy, so I had my inner Dave Archer needed to be appeased, so I just like these. Remember the Ultimate Victory? They got like a little flame thing going on. Big fan of that. Like that. For what was supposed to be like relatively, like it's basically a chrome version of a low-end product, but it's a cool-looking card. Especially if you get in the light the right way.
So, Vinny, I am curious to... Carlos has touched on some of his goals for the year, showing off some cards. Dave's mentioned some of his. I know you keep a list So I'm interested to see kind of how your progress has been going so far this year.
Yep. So the set list, I just whacked off 4 or 5 of them that I've been putting together. So 96, 97 Pinnacle, which is notorious for being in a box and stuck together in huge bricks. So had to find alternative methods of not pack pooling that little set because of the gloss. Yes, she has a point there. So the boxes, the metal for 2021 are now late July, early August.
That is why I posed the question: are they being delivered by ComC?
Yes, I believe so. So
That'll be one of the items on the list. The 28,000 plus strong.
absolutely. So Zenith, some Summit Impact. So taking those down slowly but surely. Putting the sets from 1990 through 96, 97. Anything that Lemieux's in, I'm putting the set together. Probably not all the insert sets. Some of them would pose to be difficult, like Captain's Choice. Even though I probably had the 2 hardest ones to find, the Lemieux and the Gretzky. But those don't pop very often.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this is what I have left for Mario from 84 or 85 to present. And I just keep on highlighting as I get them. I have them broken down by brand and year, and so far so good. I've grabbed a couple big ones off the list. The AP the other night, thanks to Nick Pop's Collection, sent me a message late one Saturday night. Get this, and I got it. So that was a good heads up by Nick to let me know about that. I didn't even dicker. I just grabbed it. It was half the price of the Zenith artist proof. So that was worth taking down because I've only seen it in the set that I think Nick bought. And one other time it was already on 130 point before I even saw it. So I was doing a search and it sold like 6 days ahead of time. It didn't even make into my search criteria in my saved searches. Okay. So it sold instantaneously. So as soon as I saw it, I pulled the trigger. Couldn't pull the trigger fast enough because that's one I really wanted to get off the list because it's freaking gorgeous. But so far, so good. Trying to grab things. There's some cards that I'm buying 3 or 4 of that I really, really like because I want 3 or 4 of them. And if the price is right.
Anything off your top 25? Yep.
Yep. The Pinnacle.
I'm already one step ahead of you, better half.
So that's the one in question.
So one of the 25 off the list.
Yep. That's one of the big ones. The other stuff is just not popping up right now. That's why for not having any memorabilia or autographs on my list, that's what I've been buying mostly lately because that's what's popping. And the vibe is good. So
that's what's popping and the vibe is good.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Yes. So I've been grabbing stuff that appeals to me visually, and the price is solid. So they're out there. They're part of the 10,000. When Steve said that like 5 months ago, that there was 10,000 Lemieux cards, my jaw just went.
And yeah, but that sounds about right. That couldn't really surprise you with the amount of product that was released. Now, does that include that includes post playing day, I assume?
Correct.
Yeah. And so 9,900 like post playing days. The way they structured it after a while.
It was what, close to 6,000 ITG
It's a lot.
cards.
Yeah, but if you go, you're going to see this with any retired player because I joked about the rotation. We know there is a retired player rotation that these companies will reach to. Upper Deck has theirs. So whenever Upper Deck releases a new set, my only question that I ask is Medano in this? What are you going to put me through? What garbage are you going to present from in front of me?
Pretty much.
But the good news for me is like if I don't really like it, then I don't care. If it's interesting, then so be it. Like we can have some fun with it. It just depends on what it is. Like we'll have fun. I had fun with Chronology, from a couple of years ago. I picked up a bunch of that stuff. Like this is the black version, and these are like tearaway cards. But this is the black version. Here's the thing. This is what I don't like though about the tearaway cards. Sometimes people will get like, okay, look, I know Medano is not Gretzky or one of those guys, but if it's a tearaway card out of 15, are you going to crack open a tearaway card out of 15? This guy does. This guy did. And he at least included the card in it. So this is 13 of 15. It is torn open. And if you opened it up, it is an Eddie Olczyk autograph inside of it. An Eddie Olczyk mini is what you opened the out of 15 card for. That's what you bothered with it. So if I open this up, you'll see a nice little Eddie Olczyk autograph. So enamored with it he was that he left it in there. It's like, and I bought this for a fraction of what it would have cost. Because I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Fine. I'll take it. It's out of 15. It's not like there's a bunch of these out there.
Yeah.
But it's like, you tore one open to get Eddie Olczyk. And you had to include Eddie Olczyk as a toss-in because I wasn't going to pay extra for it. You fool. Eddie Olczyk.
That's the card that comes inside.
Exactly. But Eddie Olczyk.
Hey, he was a coach of the Penguins for a while.
Phenomenal. Fantastic. Sensational.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And these are numbered to 60.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people are willing to take that risk and take that chance. It's no different than, the A&G rip cards and things along those lines. I mean, a lot of people are willing to take the risk, but
yeah,
at the same time, it's like you got a big name player and it's low serial number. Do you think it's worth it?
Yeah, it's like you got to really do well to make this worth your. There's so many ways that it could go wrong for you at that stage. It's like I probably would have done that with a common.
Yeah.
But it's like you probably would have gotten more money for it if you just left it sealed. You would have.
Oh, so funny.
Look at this guy. He's got a pack. So this is the reiteration of the Zenith, right? This is when they brought it back, right?
Correctamundo.
Yeah. Did they keep the tear? Is it still a tearaway card, or did they get rid of that?
It's a rip.
Oh, it is still rip. Okay.
There is something inside of
like
this.
A perforation? Okay.
But like Tootsie Pops, we will never know.
Yeah. No, it was funny to me when they did that. But I had legitimate questions about that when I got the Medano Gold Impulse. They're like, well, you're going to tear it open to see what's inside. It's a Medano Gold Impulse out of 100. No, I am not going to tear it open to see what's inside. And I said to them, even if I want to take that concept seriously, what do I need to pull to make that worth my while, the loss that I'm going to incur by ripping open this card? I need Gretzky, I need Waugh, or I need the Medano Z-Gold. Basically, those are the only three things where I would be happy tearing open that card. Mm-hmm. I would do it with an X-Acto knife. I would do it with precision. We're not animals out here. We know how to do this properly. We learned how to do this back in '98. Okay, you take an X-Acto knife, you do an incision, a very light one, and then you can slip the card right out. It's not brain surgery. Like, it's not that hard. You can do it without superbly damaging the card. It'll be opened, but at least it won't be damaged. You can still have the card as a cut open card, and some people still like that. But for Gold Impulse, man, that's out of 100 from a 1997-98 product. Like, there's not a lot of those floating out there. When one comes up, it was like insta-buy.
Mm-hmm.
How many Josh? I was going to ask how many Josh Johnsons were in rip cards for A&G.
He had, I think it was 10 and 11, and it might have been 12. And I think they're all numbered to 25. There was 1 year I don't have. I think it's the 12. And I know somebody had parted with some, what was it, last fall maybe? And I think I'd got like the 11. Or maybe I didn't get the 11 and I have the 12. Where I won one of those for like 45. And the other one I bid at like 65, 70. And I still lost by 2 or 3 bidders. So obviously there's somebody putting together the set. Because nobody else should be out there buying Johnson at that price trying to rip open, and you get a Billy Butler number to like 25. You'd be like, okay, that's a worthwhile rip there. So, yeah, you can get a red ink to 10. Sure, you can get that wood parallel to 1. But you can also get like the Billy Butler extended high series. That's just like an extenuation of the set. And those commons are usually like 20 to 30 bucks book value. About 10 to 12, 15 bucks eBay value on a good day. So that's a calculated risk. Like if Carlos opened or ripped open the Madonna and got the silver impulse of Brian Bedard, I'd be like, yeah, that's breaking even today.
Oh yeah, basically yeah, basically yes. I don't think even a Z Gold Ziggy Palfy would make me feel better at that point. I would still be kind of. It might be a wash at best, but it's like go to goats. I acknowledge, but even still, like I had to. It's a gold impulse, like This isn't like a Tom Brady rookie or something worthless. No, it's something of value. Like what the hell am I supposed to do with this other thing? Give me a break here.
Carlos's endless love of Tom Brady.
Listen, my love of Tom Brady is only rivaled by Dave's love of Baseball Collector.
Yeah, true. These are facts.
I do find comedic ways to bring it in. I don't have quite the, yelling off into the distance, violent screaming, going on. I do like to think that I bring a little style of panache, just poking the Brady fans a little bit here and there to the point they get mad at me. I get your correspondence. I get it. I do. I enjoy it.
Dave, any other ones you have to show off?
Yeah, I got a few more, Dave, but I'll save them. You go for it. Your turn.
I was trying to see if anything stuck
Testament
out.
to lack of organization that I didn't come prepared. I literally just went to the stack of random cards on the table. There's plenty of stuff there.
So that one was a
Exactly. Here's a random one for you, Dave. You'll probably appreciate this one. This one came in today. You know who that is? You want me to put the name in front of you, Dave?
Let me get closer.
Exactly. Yeah, you're almost there. You almost got it.
Does that say Tessa Blanchard?
It does say Tessa Blanchard.
Tully's daughter.
Yeah, part of that 2020 Leaf Wrestling set. They got they got this little set of they call them Ring Queens here, but there's only 9 cards in the set. I was like, okay, that seems kind of interesting, but it does seem like it'd be a weird combination. Like some of them make total sense to me, but some of them are like Tessa Blanchard makes total sense to me for sure. Like, but then they got Brandy Rhodes, I think, in this one as well. I'm like, Brandy, really? She's wrestler-ish, adjacent, I guess. Question mark.
Most people probably remember that. That's the one that I got from Germany. Central Credentials 2000.
Nice.
Number to 50. I'd have to go back and actually really seriously figure out what's actually come in so far this year. I'm not as up to snuff as what a lot of you guys are.
It's all good. Now this wasn't a pickup, but I think it was. But I thought it was funny, and Dave, I think will appreciate this. So with that Tessa came from Australia.
Okay.
So like sometimes you'll get like filler cards as part of your thing to protect the card. So the Tessa card was, I was like, oh cool, I got the package from Australia. It was the card, but he included some filler cards, and he included a bunch of like Topps Finest WWE. So you got tag teams, which have a little bit of refractor shine. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, pretty sweet. Bailey and Sasha, not bad. But then I'll show you something else once I get past the WWE ones. So I'm like, okay, these are fine. Miz and Morrison, you got that too. But then so include a couple of those randomly, obviously because of the wrestling card. So I guess they figured to throw that in. But then they included not Aussie Rules football, but Australian rugby cards. And not a couple, like these are all inserts. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm riveted. I'm fascinated. I'm like, this is great. And they've even got like a cartoon card, like an acetate cartoon card. Look at that. was like, sweet. Nice. I didn't realize that outside of Aussie rules that they also had the regular rugby as a Australian thing. I'm like, all right, this is pretty sweet.
Anything of value, Carlos?
I genuinely have no idea, and I doubt it.
Just thought I'd ask. Most likely not.
I think they're cool looking. Like these got some nice shine to them. It's like this is season to remember 2020. These are all new, like 2021 series. I think it's Traders, and they're Rising Stars and a bunch of stuff. But this is rugby. So I was like, all right, cool. I like Aussie rules, and I don't mind rugby. So I was like, all right, that's sweet. As a toss-in, it's like, all right, I'll actually keep these.
Definitely different. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That'll be the pickup video because it's just so different. It's like normally the throw-ins are like straight to the garbage can. Sorry, kids, it's going to the garbage can. But it's like no, I'm like no, I'll keep those. Those are interesting.
Emerald number to 5, I'm guessing there, Dave, or did they actually change?
And I think it was with the tag as well. Good call. Those are good. I like that year of the patch cards. I think they did a good job with that design.
Yeah, that's one thing it's tough to stay away from is the patches that even if they're not like a great patch, it's numbered.
No, for sure. But I would say though the base upper deck patches when they used to do them properly with like a decent sized swatch and stuff, I was a huge fan of those. Like especially the first couple of years of them, they did a really good job on those. Yep. Big fan. Yeah, those ones are hit and miss. At least you got 2 colors. Those ones can be really boring in one color.
Yeah.
But I appreciate them for there. I think they're out of 25, if memory serves me, those ones, the ice ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're okay, but it's like, it's only out of 25. Why would you give me a 1-color patch? This kind of sucks. Like, you only need to make 25 cards. Give me 2 colors.
And then when you have the luxury suite, which...
They did a good job on those for the most part. Depends on the patch and year, but they did a decent job on those.
And that's to 100 on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple. Again, just got that one in, the Niskanen.
Nice.
Outdoor
Sanderson.
Can't even think. Stadium series.
Now, Paul has the right question, Dave. It's very important. It's a given. They are players of a sport. Oh, but it doesn't matter. It's part of the world. It's part of the universe. Dave collects all players from the multiverse. Even dimensions we don't know about yet. Do I have to go back to the creator player thing? Do we have to explain this again? All player PCs.
Come on, Paul.
And I just threw it out in the chat for anybody who wants to provide any updates to the topic as it pertains to their mid-year goals or lists or accomplishments so far that they want to call out specifically.
Nice.
Of course, throw it in the chat. We'll make sure we highlight it and talk about it and let you kind of, add any details if you feel to do so. This is not just about the 4 of us that are here. It's also about you guys and, for those who actually keep goals and, create lists and things along those lines, we want to make sure that you can throw out anything that you may want to add to the conversation for your specific collecting goals as well. So just want to throw that out there as well.
Nice. So Dave, here, I'll do 2001, 2002 be a pair of memorabilia because I ended up stacking a bunch of them for the first part of the year. See if you remember these. We got the triples. Yeah, so this one is Medano, Amante, and Ronick. So we're sticking to the USA theme on that one. Curtis Joseph, Iserman, Medano. So another triple. And then this one, Medano, Eric Lindros, and a player of average capability. So you got Gretzky on top with a 2-color thing with a little stitching on top. So this one I think is probably the best of the regular base triples. So pretty solid. And then Gretzky's got a nice little seam piece on there, so that's solid.
Yeah, that always helps the value.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wasn't complaining. For me, it was like I was a big fan of them, but all all-star themed, and then you got all they're all good. They're all all-stars for that year anyway. They're all good players. Yeah. You don't get any scrubs on those. And then this one's just completed. Go ahead.
Sanderson, I'm not sure who that is. I'll have to defer to somebody else. That sounds like a hockey guy.
The name rings a bell. I just don't remember.
Anybody?
So I think you remember these ones, Dave. 0304 Parker, so the rookie. So you got these. So this one I've had for the longest time. That's your base version. But then you got the gold versions out of 10.
Mm.
And of course, in traditional fashion, there's no numbering anywhere. So if you don't know that the gold's out of 10, then you have no idea what it is compared to the regular one. Because they look pretty much the same otherwise. And it's only a slight shading, so it's not like it's tremendously dramatic. It's like, nope, one's out of 10 and one's out of less than 100.
I know that's been the hardest part for me, because I know when I showed like that whatever the hell it was, this one I'd asked, is that really out of 10? Because it's got the gold or whatever there.
Yeah, whenever you want to double check, the best way to do it is to pick a similar player and just see if you can find two versions.
Mm-hmm.
Or barring that, to see if there's like because I didn't mind what they did. I just wish they had put any other indicator, a letter, an asterisk, anything. Just put something on there. Just be like, so is there only one, or is there actually two versions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Brad, if I'm not mistaken, you did pick up an autograph of somebody that you had been hunting for. Now, whether or not that was part of your original list or not, you still got to quote unquote mark something off your list. If I'm not mistaken. I'll leave it to him to throw it out there, but I'm pretty sure that there was one specifically that he had mentioned that he recently got that was on the list, but not technically on the list, I guess.
Okay.
It's one of those in which sometimes we have lists and they change or deviate as time progresses, Dave. Vinny. But, I digress, not meaning to call anybody out specifically or anything, because why would I do that? I don't do that.
That would be uncouth.
Yes.
Yes, it would, but I did anyways because I guess I can. No, I was referring to, for the life of me, I'm drawing a blank. It's been a few videos ago, and I know you paid strong for it, and it was one of the few autos that he had in a Dolphins uniform, but I'm like drawing a blank. Come on, Dave. Help me out here.
The only one I can think of is that the 72 Dolphins, I want to say a safety.
No, it was not an old-timey player.
Because Jason Taylor's got over the years more stuff. Zach Thomas, not a ton. He's got some stuff. Duper's got a bunch. Mark Clayton's got a bunch. Marino's got tons. I don't know if Sale's got anything in Dolphins uniform. Maybe one or two, possibly. Trying to think who else would be on that list of our generation players.
So Paul's made some progress on a couple rainbows.
Yeah, the Allure ones are the ones he's been working on as on his Instagram. He does show it off. If any of you want to check it out, you should check out Paul's Instagram. The Allures are very pretty cards. Like they've got some really nice parallels, especially some of the really tough ones. And there's a lot of them, so they are actually pretty tough to put together. So getting that close to McDavid, because McDavid's a pretty popular player. It's not like a bottom feeding player. It's like kind of a big deal with those categories. So being that close to a rainbow, that's strong.
And I know we got an orange. What was it? I can't remember the specific name. It was an orange something that he posted recently in his pickups from the virtual expo. Mm-hmm. But I can't remember who the player was specifically.
Draisaitl, maybe?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think those are the two he's working on. So it's McDavid and Draisaitl, I believe. You can correct us, Paul, but I believe those are the two main ones you're focusing in on and keying in.
He's got them both in there. I mean, he's mentioned both. He's 2 cards shy of Leon and then down to 2 for McDavid. So
yeah, that's going to be 2 impressive rainbows when it's done too, because those are good looking cards.
So am I reading this right, though, Paul? You do already have the 101? Because you mentioned an E-Pack exclusive, which I don't know specifically what that is, and then one number to 10.
Yeah, so the McDavid looks like yes. So for the McDavid, probably yes, and for the other one, he distinguishes the 101 separately. So probably yeah. Which is no mean feat. The McDavid 1 of 1, that's strong.
Yeah.
So you remember these, Dave? So these are from titanium, and then you got to pay attention to the back on them. So you got the titanium card, and then you've got the version with the numbering on the back. So that part is the ones that they do out of 50.
Okay.
The jersey number variant, which is very dumb because if you're not paying attention, you completely miss it. I just noticed it because it's set out of 50, and I was like, wait, I have that one, and it's not. And then I look at it, I'm like, oh, the jersey number. Gotcha.
Oh, Carlos is being called out.
I like that because I barely attended myself. My video would be like, don't waste your fucking time. I mean, go on, please continue. Yeah, it's fine if you have dealers you know. My thing is I had paid attention to the last couple. I had this feeling that it was going to be much slower because anybody in the U.S. stateside can go to physical shows.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like part of the appeal of virtual was like, well, none of us can go anywhere, so here it is and whatever. So this time around, they still did well. They still had people around, but it was like I think Steve Menzies said it was like 3,000 people virtually, as opposed to the last two, which combined for 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do your math on that and figure like it's still a bit of a drop off. And they said they made it more collector friendly, which I don't doubt. I'm sure it was very collector friendly because at that point they've refined it also. They've learned how to do it a little bit better. But while there are real physical shows available for folks elsewhere, in Canada we didn't. But at the same time, it's like, so how is this better than eBay?
Yeah.
Just go to your eBay store because some of you are literally telling me to go to your eBay store anyway. Mm-hmm. So I can attend your virtual booth to go to your eBay store anyhow. I was already there.
Yeah, this was the first of the last three that I really didn't even. I think I was in there for maybe about 5 minutes, and it's like I don't care, I just don't. It's the same thing, the same camera showing, hey, here's my eBay store, as Carlos just alluded to, or people just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, it works if you want to hang out. It works if you want to hang out and just chat.
Yeah.
But if you want to do that, I could be like, oh, literally, if I just want to hang out and just chat, I'll push a button and I'll do it on my own channel and and you guys can come on and whatever, and it's fine.
Mm.
Have a good night, better half. But you can totally do that. Like, it's like, no, I don't actually need you guys for that. I don't need your platform for that. And mine can stay recorded. So if something interesting is said or talked about, we have a record of it.
Yes. Yeah, that one from whatever we had in November, I think.
Yeah.
Where we had an hour of content that would have blown the world away and lost in the internet stratosphere.
That was crazy. Like, there was a lot there. There was a lot revealed. Dave gave like 100 picks. All 100 went up. 100 for 100. He cracked the Da Vinci Code. He told us how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. He managed all that within an hour. And if y'all weren't there, you didn't know. You never got to see it. That's it. Lost to the sands of for digital time.
Dave did. Dave picked up his number one. At least I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
1 and 3, or 1, 2, and whatever. I know he got 2 top 5s early this year.
Yep.
Yeah, that one was up there. This was the 5th one, the gold medallion. This was, I think, like 6th. And that one came right at the beginning of the year. The mirror gold.
Buy the card, not the grade.
Oh, I was glad it was peeled in there though.
No, Steve, you buy the grade. Check it out. PSA 5. Buy the grade, guys. Buy the grade.
Is that seriously? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me expand this. How the hell did that get a 5?
It's a memorabilia card. Those things get the corners get dinged up all the time. That's pretty standard on these things. That's why I was like, why would you even bother? I bought it like this, and I didn't pay any premium for the holder, but it's like, look, I don't mind. It's already in the holder. I didn't have to pay any extra for that. I paid around what I would have paid for the card if you had not bothered with it and paid whatever you paid to put it in this holder. But it's like, PSA 5, this is the gold out of 10.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you actually didn't get it cheaper because of the low grade.
I might have actually. There's some people might have been turned off by it because he did label a PSA 5. And the reason it got it, I can tell you. It's a little hard to see, but right about here where my finger is, there's a crease that goes all the way into the cutout. So like it deserves the grade. It is correct. But like for me, this is at a gold out of 10. Do I care? No. As long as I pay a reasonable price. Yeah, okay, sure. It's already in the holder too.
And at a minimum, it's at least a placeholder in the event that you come across one that isn't damaged, so to speak.
Yeah. I paid it cheap enough that I really am like, yeah, it's fine. We're okay. If I come across another one super cheap as well, fine, I'll take 2 then. But it's not necessary.
No, makes sense. Understood too.
Yeah. At that point, you may as well take advantage of it. Yes, buy the holder and pay a discount. Buy the holder and pay a discount.
There you go. That's what the shirt should actually say.
Correct. Absolutely. Well, that's what I said though. Like, don't treat unless you're dealing in like high grade rookies or something where maybe there's a condition scarcity. If that's not what you're doing, well then just treat the holder as a holder. It doesn't matter what type of holder it is. Just treat it as a holder. Like, how much do you want to pay for the card? Whatever that answer is, if you're satisfied with that on the other side, it's like you're good to go. Don't worry about the rest of it. It's fine.
No, true. Very true.
Yeah. As long as you're happy with it, that's good.
I was going to say, and for those who are strictly hockey oriented, I can see where there's added benefits to the expo though, just because there's a crap ton of people up in Canada that attend from a dealer perspective, if I'm not mistaken. So Carlos, of course, keep me honest. You would know more than I would.
Yeah, on the whole, yes. It's one of those things where, like I said, the virtual this time had a little bit less in dealers too, just because I think a lot of them were in the same vein. Some of the dealers didn't do that well. Like the Amit's and Jeremy's do well because now they have a little bit of a name out there from the general sense that people at least know who they are. But also, they did one thing that was smart. They made lists. They took pictures so people could go find and then go, all right, so I don't need to talk to you until I find what I'm looking for. Let me scan page after page after page of scans and whatever. Oh, your price is on there? Even better. That makes my life easier. So I know where the starting price is. I know what the card is. I know what all. So then I can go back and say, hey, Amit, or hey, Jeremy, I'm looking at this. You got it at 100. Could you do 80? I'll do 85. Cool. Great. Deal. Done.
Have a good one, Yannick. Thanks for stopping in.
Have a good one, Yannick. Take it easy.
Take care, Yannick.
Yeah. As long as you have that, like, it makes the buyer's life so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective, it's like I knew what those guys' inventory was. For me, it's like, well, that's a waste of my time. I already know kind of what's there. I scanned a Meats thing anyway, just for the hell of it. Kent had some nice Soto cards. I was like,
Yeah.
That was a little bit more intriguing to me. I'm like, no, not now. Now is not the time.
So in other words, you couldn't buy the dip there, Carlos? Is that what you're trying to say?
Kent was trying to fight off the dip. His prices weren't terrible. Like, to be fair, I've seen worse. But I was like, no, Kent, there's more of a dip. Keep dipping. Dip further. Further into the dip, Kent. Further into the dip.
It also depends what he had in it, Leave some meat on the bone.
Absolutely not. It's like, you will starve, sir. It's like, do I have to go back to a moment ago where I went all Kaiser Soze on the fellow collector? It's like, look, I want your house to burn down. I want your wife to leave you. I want your kids to not acknowledge you. I want your life ruined is what I want. And give me my card.
Yep, these are facts. These are facts.
Like I said, back in the day, men were men, and we competed on a proper field. I am just out here to destroy your life and get my cards in the bargain. It's fine. It's fine. We all knew what we signed up for when we agreed to the terms at Thunderdome.
Oh, good old Thunderdome.
Well, now they all want to be like, oh, let's be friends and sing Kumbaya. No, we are not sing Kumbaya. We're out. It's done. Over with the Kumbaya. I'm going all honky tonk man on this guitar right now. Which one of you wants it?
A random person just stopped in front of my house. What the hell?
Maybe you have to go honky tonk man on them too.
Good possibility. At least I got witnesses.
Fact. But yeah, I think it was a good. That's one of the good ones. And Dave did well on that one. You did very well on that one.
Yeah.
But Dave, I think you should feel bad. I think you should go and pay at least $400. I feel like that's the going rate, minimum.
Well,
like as a starting point.
My max wasn't that far off from that.
Yeah. No, what offended me wasn't the one. What offended me was the two.
Yep.
I was like, I hate you all. You're trash, is what you are. Trash.
Yeah, that was I
And Vinny's gone.
I wonder if he actually had to drop or if his internet decided to have fun.
Who's to say? Who's to say?
He may have to be on dog duty. It's getting about that time.
Mm. So you're saying, Dave?
I just don't get the spending $900 on those two.
Well, I would say the individual there in question, from his Instagram, he likes the patches.
Yes.
Like, and I don't think I think he's shown on multiple occasions that he will pay like a premium for some really premium. They're nice patches. They're some of the best I've seen. Vinny's back.
Yeah, he's got just a insane collection. When he came out of, I don't know where he came out of, or when he jumped on Insta, because I remember seeing that and just be like, oh, well,
yeah.
Just thinking, oh, this is Carlos showing this stuff off. I'm like, no, what? Mo card collect?
Mm-hmm.
What? Who's this?
Well, apparently he's been at it for 20 years as well, which was interesting because like, I have no idea who the fuck you are. Who the hell are you? Where have you been for 20 years then? I've been here the whole time, bro. Like, where you coming from? You were not at the meetings.
That's peasant money, Brad.
Exactly.
2,000 is cheap. You got to jump all over that, man.
That's like a 2020 prison base card, Winston. Come on, man.
Plus,
did you want anything good?
It's Jameson. Winston.
Sorry, I stand corrected. My apologies. My nomenclature is off tonight. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, if somebody really wants it bad enough, that's going to be what it's going to be. But that's where that's where what I said before works. That's how it was. Is that okay? Now, mind you, I have no idea what his budget is. Clearly, if he's willing to throw that much money around for that, I'm like, okay, so how far would you have gone? Now I'm kind of curious. Yeah. Because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm not going to pay that much, but if I know you pay $1,000, I want to bid $999.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, then pay for it properly, sir.
Right.
Like, I want to push it. Let's find out if you can cash out your 401k. How far can we take this?
Now, on the Jameis Winston front, I could see a partial spike going into the season since he's probably going to be the starter, but that price point, no. So sorry.
I'd be curious what card it was. Because for that price, like I'd be curious what Jameis Winston card is out there currently that anyone could even pretend is in that price range right now.
I think it was NT.
I just don't know if. Here's the thing. I would never make it a recommendation, but if you want to take a flyer, you could do worse than Jameis Winston in a taking a flyer category. Like you are taking a flyer. Like it looks like it's an NTRPA PSA 10. Even still 2,000. Jesus. That's a lot.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and then trying to explain it like as a good deal, like, well, so and so's like 20,000. Well, Yeah, Jace Amaro's $20. So who cares?
I'm just trying to think at what number I would take a flyer. It's kind of it's like that Ben Simmons calculation I was talking about on the live stream. Like there is a number where if you're going to take a stab at something where you're just like, what the hell? You got to pretend it's like a scratch ticket is what you got to do. You got to be like, okay, at what price point am I okay where if it doesn't turn out, I shrug my shoulders and move on with the rest of my day and we have a fun story.
Yeah.
Versus if it works, it works. There is a number, like there is a price point at which we can get, everybody's going to be different, but there is a number we got to get there. I'm like, I don't know what it would be for Jameis.
Couple $100.
Probably.
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, probably.
200 was my number in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go back rookie year, he did well the first couple seasons. Okay, I could see it spiking quite a bit, because NT is higher priced product. A lot of people like the NT RPAs. I get it, but for $2,000 going into the possibility of him being worth a damn as the starter in New Orleans, that's a hard sell. I mean, that's a hard sell for anybody to try and justify
It is.
how that could be $2,000.
You could take a lot of flyers for that much money. You really could. There's a bunch of different.
Absolutely.
There's a bunch of different risks because I was eyeing one. I wasn't intending to bid on it because I figured it would go higher than I'd want to go. So the select, you've got the gold prisms, right? The gold prisms are out of 10. So you got that 2018 class with all those quarterbacks. Well, the Darnold gold prism was finishing up just a couple of minutes ago. I had it on the other tab here. I was just kind of keeping an eye on it. I was curious. So it's a BGS 9, which doesn't really matter, but it's the gold prism out of 10. So that's the Darnold rookie parallel. $447. So that was in auction.
People still banking on him having a good year.
Yeah, but I'm saying like $447. That's a good chunk of change. But that's a rookie parallel out of 10. Where if he's able to do something decent, like the pitch that I made wasn't him being. I said what I'd be looking for is if he can be like a Ryan Tannehill style quarterback, where he has a decent year with a team that's built well. If they can work with him and make something work, his prices would rebound, and then that would become a relative bargain. That would be
Absolutely.
That would be a good solid play at that point. Now that's an open auction. That's everybody took a stab at it. That wasn't you saying it's $2,000 good. That's a rookie parallel out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Already graded for you, already taken care of. So some of the work's been done. I could see that as a flyer, but imagine you could buy almost 4 of those for that Jameis play.
Mm-hmm.
And you could pick different players. So if one of the 4 hits,
Exactly.
you probably make this work for you.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't there still questions about Thomas even potentially coming back in New Orleans?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of question marks. On paper, the Jameis play isn't terrible only because I grabbed some on ComC when it was cheap, but those ones are not even going off the platform. I'm leaving them on ComC because those are good flippable candidates on the platform. So if you get them real cheap, because his regular, like his finest rookie and stuff like that was available for a song, it was like a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
For Jameis Winston, if you tell me it's under $5, sure. I can take a couple of flyers at under $5. One of them I literally paid $2.
Well,
What's
even
the
at $10, I mean, I'd even go as high as that from that standpoint because there's always the possibility.
Yeah.
But at least from the New Orleans perspective, I mean, to me, there's more question marks, especially if, Thomas decides to go somewhere else.
Agreed.
And, that being their primary offensive weapon on their receiving core, you lose that number one target. Is somebody going to step up or not? So it's one of those in which, he had that, 30-30 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's great, 30 touchdowns, but 30 picks. I mean, that can cost you, quite a few games too in the process.
But he had LASIK, Steve. He had LASIK. So he couldn't see. He couldn't see.
Bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. With the 30 picks, he still threw for 5,000 yards that year. So like here's the funny thing. If he had been average with the turnovers, the Buccaneers were a playoff team that year because they were on the borderline playoff team anyway, even with him throwing 30 picks and literally throwing away games.
Mhm.
That's part of my case of why I'm like not super impressed with Brady is. Like, so you took an offense that was already pretty prolific with a guy who's throwing 30 picks, who also threw for 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, and with 30 picks. That's the NFL. A lot of people build up stats. Blake Bortles never threw for 5,000 yards, ever. I don't think anybody accused him of throwing for 5,000 yards. The point is that you can rack up stats. It's the NFL. It's the NFL now. 4,000, 5,000 yard passers are really kind of common. 4,000 is like almost the minimum now. If you're a starter and you're playing every day and you're not terrible. If you're half decent enough to keep your job for all 16 weeks, you can probably get close to, if not over 4,000 yards. That's like a baseline standard now.
Yeah, 4,000 is the new 3,000.
It is.
20 years ago.
That's why I say, like, down the road, y'all can look. You sit back and wait on it. We can all look forward to our new Lord and Savior, Matthew Stafford, who will become the first 100,000-yard quarterback. And everybody like, but doesn't he kind of suck? But he threw for 100,000 yards, y'all.
It is possible. It is possible. I don't think Stafford's a shitty quarterback by any
No,
stretch of the
I think he played. I think he played for the Lions.
That is, yes. And if he had a better offensive line, he would have had more opportunities. He played with the crap offensive line.
Yeah.
So
I think if they would have had a running game,
that would have helped too.
Yeah, I found the one. I found the one that I was taking a look at Brad's thing. It's 4,400 yards and 35 touchdowns. Brad, don't try to give him another 100 yards. I see you out there. I see you. And that was in his second year. After that, it was all downhill. After that, it was 3,900, 3,600, and 2,700, and you're out of Jacksonville. Get out. But hey, it is true that at one point he had over 4,000 yards one time. So yes, that is technically correct. You are correct, sir, back in 2015. The heady days of 2015. Single tier.
Yeah, Stafford, I think, still has a chance.
It could be. I'd be curious. No excuses, Brad. If you're going to try to pump up Blake Bortles, you better be damn right, sir. I need it down to the yard. I need a full breakdown of all the receivers. I need to know exactly who he threw to. I want advanced stats, Brad. Advanced stats. Hell, I want to know Blake Bortles' WAR. You know what? I want you to tell me Blake Bortles' WAR, Brad. That's what I need.
Well, Stafford was supposed to be like their savior because they hadn't had a quarterback worth a damn in years.
Facts, yes.
So, I mean, Joey Harrington.
Well, technically, given what they actually had in their history, one could argue he was the closest thing they were going to get. And he played well. Like, he compiled stats, if nothing else. Like, but then you go look, it's like, well, so what's around me exactly? Just so we're clear. So you're compiling stats despite there being, the cupboard is bare. Let's just say the cupboard is super bare.
Calvin Johnson was pretty
Correct.
much it for the longest time.
Correct.
So.
And Calvin Johnson retired in 2015, so he didn't have him after that.
Correct. It's okay.
It's Detroit, Ed. It's Detroit. They have ruins. They don't have buildings. They have ruins. Fiery ruins, Ed. Fiery ruins.
People worship Tony Romo here in Dallas. People worship Dak Prescott. I mean, it's no different in any situation, circumstance around the U.S. when it comes to an NFL franchise. People worship Elway. Yes, okay, Elway won some championships, so I'll give him some credit.
And had additional attempts.
That is true.
Yeah.
But then you also, people worship Plummer. People worship Greasy when he was there. I mean, Greasy wasn't horrendous. He wasn't great, but he wasn't horrendous. Plummer was stout. He was solid. And then, of course, you had Cutler coming in. He was worshipped. The coming of age of, John Elway type situation was the whole mantra of Cutler. And Cutler was nothing but a whiny little bitch
Oh.
who thought he was the best thing since sliced bread, and that's why he got cut and went to Chicago, where he did what? Not much of anything.
Stats. That's it.
Now, then you'll have other people sit there and say, well, you know, he ended up having whatever, it was severed kidney or whatever the hell it was, and all this other kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm not trying to downgrade the injury that he experienced. I mean, it's pretty severe. But that doesn't give you the right to be a whiny little bitch boy thinking that you're the best thing since sliced bread. And if you're going to compare yourself to John Elway, you better come with some good retorts as to why you think you're as good as he was. That's just my opinion.
I think it also is, since you mentioned Chicago, I think it also depends on the franchise and what their history is with quarterbacks. There's certain franchises where it's like there's not a lot to talk about. Chicago had that Super Bowl in '85, but it wasn't because of Jim McMahon. It wasn't the quarterback. That wasn't the reason why.
No.
He did his job. He did his job. But it wasn't because of quarterback play. But then you go through the history of the Chicago Bears, like a quarterback. It's like, so who else you like? Since '85, who else you like?
Jim Harbaugh.
Phenomenal.
Jim
So-
Miller.
Yeah. So
Eric
crickets on
I
the
was
whole.
going to say Eric Kramer.
Yeah, it's like it's not looking good. You go through that list, it's not exactly a murderer's row. There's some of these teams that it's like your quarterback. It's like your history of quarterback sucks. And that's basically what happens. Is so you got Chicago was bad, Detroit's been bad, so Stafford by comparison may as well be a god. Look at what you've got to compare him to, for the majority of your franchise. Those are pretty bad. But what about Cleveland? I would throw Cleveland in there as well. For the most part, their history of quarterbacks is abysmal.
Yeah, because they drafted first-round quarterbacks for how many years straight?
Correct. And so they kept trying. It wasn't for lack of effort. They just couldn't hit on anybody. There's just one bad choice after another.
Yeah,
I'd even throw Cincinnati in the list, too.
I think that's fair.
Re-entering the league, I'd say their quarterbacks were not great, but at least with Kozar, who was Brian Sipe. I'm trying to think back to
Eric Zaire was in there.
Zaire, yeah, he wasn't much anything. But yeah, at least you had people you knew, and then when they came back in and Coach and Holcomb and Charlie Fry and
Well, how did that Johnny football turn out, Dave?
Fantastic. The greatest thing ever.
And future NFL Europe MVP, Steve. Future NFL Europe MVP. First, they have to bring back NFL Europe. When they do, future NFL Europe MVP. I have faith. I have confidence.
There's your investment material. Go buy Johnny Manziel.
We want to buy low. You can accomplish that feat. You could probably buy about as low as you can buy right now.
Niners have been stacked for years.
Yeah,
I
they've
can't argue
had
against
a
that.
really good history of it. I guess it depends on how far back you want to go, though. Like, so you know, Montana
Young.
into Steve Young is a super strong combo. Like that's a strong back to back. You know, for all the complaining and stuff, it's like Favre and Rodgers is a real strong back to back as well. You're not going to do too much, and both guys had long tenures. Both guys had long tenures, so that's a good long run. Because right before that was the Magic Man, which wasn't exactly the same. Not exactly the name, notwithstanding, not exactly the same.
no.
And then they got a really long lull. You got to go all the way back to the glory years of the 1960s. It's like not those times may come again. I hope maybe you can hope for the resurrection of the Magic Man. Maybe you can find another version of that. Maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick needs another job. Live the dream.
And I know I may get shit for this, but Colin Kaepernick was not horrendous.
No, there was a stretch of time. The thing about Kaepernick is that he had a great fastball. He could throw the ball. He could throw really hard, and he had the athleticism. Like he basically ran the Packers out of a playoff game to get to the Super Bowl. Like he literally ran them out of the building. So you can say whatever you want. Like he used his skill set to its maximum, and they got as much as they could out of him. And there's a good possibility that had basically the NFL not been whiny about this, like if Colin Kaepernick had decency to commit a crime, get thrown in jail, he would have been back in the NFL by now.
Yeah.
Just do that. Go rob a bank or something. You'd be in the NFL years ago. Do dog fighting. I've heard you can get back to the NFL after that. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and Brad, I can't argue. I mean, LA Pats mentioned it, and so did Brad. Garcia was solid.
That was a good one. Yeah, that's a good like intermediary player who had a good run there as well. That's fair.
I mean, Garcia was not too shabby by any stretch of the imagination either.
And if you take his time in the CFL, he at least had success in 2 different leagues at different times. He had 2 good runs in 2 different leagues.
I'd say too, and again, playoff successes didn't happen, but when you have a threesome of Breeze to Rivers to now, and again, Herbert's looked solid that first year. This isn't like a huge progression of years for him. That's about as good as you can hope for 3 nowadays. And I will be the first one to say how much I did not believe in Herbert and question that pick, but first year, it proved me wrong. I know that was what his agenda was all about, making sure put egg on my face. So
let's be real though. Any rookie quarterback is a crapshoot, regardless of their skill set. You just never know.
Yeah.
It could be the system, it could be the team, it could be their mental, strength, their ability to really get in there and learn and focus on film and so on and so forth. For those who put in the effort, usually they're going to be pretty good, but that's not always the case because they may not fit the system.
Mm-hmm.
It really is a crapshoot. You go into it thinking, okay, well, this is the type of quarterback we think fits the system. You go into the draft, you're looking for these specific qualities. Who's to say it's going to transition to the NFL anyways?
Mm-hmm.
There is no guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
Happens all the time. How many first-round pick quarterbacks end up freaking as backups or third stringers, a couple years down the road, or they're already out of the league? Happens frequently.
Well, my thought process is always when I look at NFL quarterbacks is that I would love to have seen how, the league and in the hobby as well would have reacted to some of these guys who ended up being kind of okay if you take them at their first year. Like Peyton Manning was demolished in his first year.
Yep.
The team sucked and he led the league in interceptions. He was getting destroyed. Now, Peyton Manning turned out okay. But that team was a 3-win team in that first year. They were garbage. And he led the league in interceptions. So he sucks, right? Cut him, right? Well, they hung in with him, and he did okay going forward. Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowls, but that first season wasn't good. They were trash. They were literal trash.
Yep.
And he got demolished, too. He was getting destroyed. His career ended early because he was getting destroyed even after they were good. Like, he was getting killed out there. But he hung in there long enough to win 3 Super Bowls, so I guess that's fine.
Well, and that's the thing. It's what I don't understand is if you're willing to use a first-round pick on a quarterback and, you give up on them after, their first full season type situation when you don't have a supporting cast around them in order to be worth a damn or, give them the chance to get used to the speed of the game and so on.
Mm-hmm.
What's the purpose in drafting a quarterback in the first round?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Save it for the second and third round, and you don't have as much capital into them, so to speak. But there are a lot of times, like you said, Carlos, that you look at Manning, you look at Aikman, prime examples. They didn't do so hot, but they went on to great careers.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of young quarterbacks in the league that are still, doing fairly well. But then there's others that you sit there and you're going, okay, wait a minute. After 2 seasons, you're just going to give up on him. I mean, is that really all that you're going to give a first-round pick? Sometimes it may take longer for them to get up to speed and everything else. They go somewhere else, and then they do better.
Yeah.
It intrigues me.
Well, your game of all the games, like I said, when it comes to football, I never claim to be an expert on football, but I will say I probably watch more football, so I consider myself at least an informed casual. I watch enough games and enough games of different teams to be comfortable looking at what I'm seeing and being comfortable with evaluating what I'm seeing. But it's one of those things where it's like, if I'm going to evaluate this guy and decide if he's good or not, I need to look at the mitigating circumstances, because if their line sucks, they're going to get destroyed. They're just going to. Because as soon as all you got to do is go back to this year's past year's Super Bowl. Maybe it could have been a classic game. But you've got a guy who was an MVP, who threw 50 touchdowns, who didn't have 2 of his linemen, and was running for his life on a bad wheel, and he looks terrible. So is he bad? Or did he have a terrible game because he's running for his life and he's getting demolished and he's got no time to do anything he normally does? And most people consider him to be a pretty good quarterback. Former MVP, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. He's not bad. And a Super Bowl win in his early 20s.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah. But like if I drop somebody and just show them this one game, oh, Mahomes sucks. Not exactly. Not exactly. Let's run this back with a healthy line and let's try this again. Maybe it becomes a more interesting contest. Maybe the Buccaneers still win because their defense is great. And they had great offensive weapons. Maybe it's more of a shootout. Maybe that favors Kansas City. I don't know. We'll never know now, but I would love to have seen that game with everybody on equal footing. Everybody coming in healthy. You show me which one of you is better. I just want to see which one of you can do it. Mm-hmm. But in that game, the field was completely tilted Tampa's way. It continues the Tampa dynasty. They're on their way potentially to winning a Stanley Cup. It's all Tampa all day long.
Yep, Tampa. Yeah, but that game would have been completely different if, Kansas City didn't have a dilapidated offensive line and Mahomes was even at, let's say, 90%.
Yeah. It would have been an interesting contest. I would have enjoyed watching it. Like, show me what it looks like when you at least give the guy a fighting chance. Give him a fighting chance, and then if Brady wins, you know what? I'll tip my hat that I'm not wearing. I'll give it to him. But it's like, no, at this point it was a fait accompli. Like, I'm looking at the other side, I'm seeing what's there. It's like, look, you should win this in a walk. And you did. So you did what you were supposed to do. So fair enough. But I'm like, I'm not going to be the one praising you at the coronation. You do that on your own.
You did give Brady you at least did.
That was by far his best game. In my opinion, that was his best game of that playoff run. That was the only time. It's like, hey, you look like a competent quarterback. Good on you, sir. Good on you.
Well, and it was, decisive. It wasn't.
It was.
Within a matter of a few points.
Yeah,
so you did acknowledge that.
Correct. And I am proud to say that Tom Brady, at this point, for the first time in his career, is a Super Bowl champion. So congratulations to him on his one Super Bowl win. He needs one more to tie John Elway. Let's go, Tom.
Faux show.
Thank you, Vinny.
Nice timing there, sir.
Well played, Vinny. Well played.
Well, we always talk about timing, right?
It is literally everything. It is everything.
Uh-oh. Sanderson says he hates you.
Take a number. It's up to 12 digits now. We might need exponents.
Oh yeah, I forget he's up in the Boston area, isn't he?
Yeah. It's always a love-hate relationship with Sanderson, and I refuse to change my material. When the moment is right, you must take the shot. You have to take the shot. Tell Ben Simmons he has to take the shot.
Sanderson, at least you know what to expect, though.
Correct.
So, it hasn't changed. It hasn't deviated. At least you know what to expect.
It's on brand. It is on
brand. Yep. You know what to look forward to. So, I'm just going to throw it back out there because I know Paul mentioned a couple Brad mentioned that he's only seen one of 4 cards on his list. Anybody else have anything from a goal perspective that they want to throw out there that we want to highlight before we just kind of see where we head?
The ice cards. Well played.
I forgot about this one.
That's a good one.
The gold.
That's what, 96, 97, Vinny?
Correctamundo.
Sweet.
The foundations.
Those are good.
I grabbed another copy of this trying to find something that was clean. The mint gold from 96, 97. It is subject to the same kind of greening that the Chrome cards are.
Really?
So if you look at Mario's face, you see a bunch of little green dots there. So,
If we had the full version of StreamYard, we could have zoomed in on you. Maybe we could have seen it. We still haven't seen any of those Venmo payments or PayPal or anybody joining Patreon.
Well, you might have a better shot if Dave would actually remember to put the crypto wallet address on the description, Dave.
Very true.
How are we supposed to send you Doge if you don't get the job done, Dave? Cryptogriff's sitting there going like, okay, what's the number? Disappointed again.
That almost looks like a plates and patches, Vinny. I know it's not, but is that Dominion?
Yep, it's Dominion.
They did a good job with
Number
those that year.
25.
Oh, look at you. Yeah, you bought a couple of shirts, didn't you? That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's a nice one.
National Treasures, number to 66.
Is that 3 color or is that 4 color?
It's 3.
But it's white, black, like gold, and then black. Okay.
So it's 3 color / 4 color.
4 break. 3 color 4 break. Gotcha. Yeah, we're not at 1,000 subscribers, Brad, which we'll never obtain. So it don't work. We're not trying to get to that point.
So there's another.
That's national. Is that Dominion too, or is that?
Yep, that's Dominion.
Okay.
And I think I had one more. Here's that Ice Dave, but it's not numbered. I grabbed one with a single color.
Okay.
But it's not numbered.
And Vinny's first autograph was courtesy of his wife with David, my help.
Yep, the better half and the IRP crew.
All we did was provide recommendations, Vinny. That's all we did. That was all your wife. We just did the hunting.
There's a Sapphire ITG numbered to 100 parallel. And
that's a big no, Brad.
Nope. No, have no inkling about getting one either. They do not appeal. I would rather have a 96, 97 mirror gold. There was one more that I'm trying to hunt down in here.
Did you have to go get a refill there, Carlos?
That I did. The other one was nicely chilled. It was perfectly done.
So Dave was aware of this one. This will be the last one I show. I always wanted one of these.
Oh, the McDonald's. Very nice.
Yep. The McDonald's, as Zero 11 would say.
Yep.
So
now you just got to get the other two.
Yeah, I was happy just to get this one.
Well, they do crop up from time to time, Vinny. I'll be honest with you. I've seen some sellers that don't really know what they have. If you look for the out of 100 and you look for the out of 50, the out of 50 is usually the one that holds out. That's the tough one. But the out of 100, those crop up from time to time.
These are out of 150.
Correct.
And when I saw this is the Atomic from 04.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going strong, and I said I wanted a McDonald's card, and there it is. And now I'm satisfied.
Look at you.
McDonald's. McDonald's. Detroit. Sorry. I can't pronounce Detroit right to the natives.
Ooh, the seller that I bought, that's a good one, Dave. The seller that I bought mine from has both the 50 and 100, Vinny.
You might have to send that over to me, Carlos. I might be tempted.
Yeah, what I'll say, I'll send you the links and you can take a look at it and because one of them at least takes offers. The Quebec one does not take offers. I had to pay the full freight on that one, but I'll send them to you just for your reference. You've got them anyway.
I'd be curious just to see. I have several items. There was another one, Dave, we were talking about the other night. It came in today, and now I can't think of what it was.
And Brad, to clarify, that is the infamous mug.
Fact.
More infamous than El Guapo.
I like it.
Just thought I'd throw that out there for context.
I must have left it in the office. And then for nothing to do with hockey or anything.
That's all right. I showed a wrestling card, so I think it's fair game. I think it's going to be fun this year, and everybody maybe has a different approach to it. What I mentioned earlier is that it doesn't just have to be the one lane that we always do. Sometimes there can be some fun diversion, something to keep you interested, something just to offset a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Those wrestling autographs I'm not collecting the set. There's a couple of the subsets that I'm looking at for fun, like that Ring Queens could be interesting just because it has 9 cards. It's reasonable. So maybe. We'll see. If I come across them cheap enough, why not? But otherwise, it's like, no, I'll just pick up the ones that interest me. The ones that are kind of fun.
Like, oh.
Mostly eBay, Brad, and then the Z Gold was through Facebook. A trade on there. The shocking trade.
Shocking trade.
Which usually the only thing I'm trading is PayPal for cards.
He's keeping the Doge for something bigger. We all know, Dave.
Add on to the ranch.
I don't want to spoil it, but Dave might be in the market for a machine.
Or
With all the warehouses, he needs one.
He will confirm with actual pictures from space.
Soon, Vinny. Soon.
Yep.
Now,
On an upcoming episode of the IRP, Dave shows his machine from space.
That's right. Why is it? It's like, why did you buy Tom Servo? Why wouldn't I buy Tom Servo? I said machine. I said space. It's not what we thought you meant. It's like, no, you did. You assumed.
Yeah.
Being generic. What a concept.
Mm-hmm.
Leave open for interpretation.
True.
It's amazing what you can get.
Someone did say machine. That's true. Now, I did send them to you, Vinny. Just said it so I didn't forget. So you got
Yep,
them.
I just got them.
Yep. So there you go. You can stare at them later.
Yeah.
One of them actually has a pretty nice patch. I was very impressed with it.
No, he's going to stare at him now.
Hey, do what you must. Who am I to question it? Oh, Facebook. Nice.
Nice, Paul.
That's cool. I'd be resourceful. Why not? I like it.
I found a TD out of NT. Dave's favorite year of NT, 06. Still one of my favorite years. I actually have quite a few variations out of that year because it happens to be one of my favorite years of NT as well. Mm-hmm. But I stumbled across it. It was the NFL die cut variation, numbered to 15, I think. Maybe it was to 10. I can't keep track of the very numbers for Terrell Davis stuff for that year. But it happened to be somebody who was part of YouTube at the time. I reached out. Of course, the card had sold, like 5 years prior. It's like, take it down. Take it down. Damn it. Damn it, Jim. I was a little upset. But hey, it happens. And that was on Photo Bucket, if you can believe it. But that was back when everybody was using Photo Bucket, though, too, Dave, for all their stuff. That turned into a full-time job almost, trying to scan all your crap into Photo Bucket. Because people always wanted to see your Photo Bucket, what you had, whether or not it was your PC stuff or your buy, sell, trade album, that type of stuff. Everybody wanted to link to your Photo Bucket. That was a kick in the tail.
Oh.
I still have some of my stuff on there, too. Believe it or not.
I haven't checked mine in years, but that is where I had, I think, all the Josh Johnson stuff I had up until whatever point I stopped. I mean, there was thousands of pictures on there. And then it just got, like you said, it was a job. It got too much where it's like, I'm not going to do this every day or 3-4 times a week. If you get a big shipment in from whatever, a trade, or one seller on eBay's got like 10, 15 cards. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot, but you're not just going to start. And back then, digital camera, you're just clicking, click, upload to the laptop at the time, and then you gotta title it, because I'm very particular with the title, then because then it slot in according to the title of the card. You just put Josh Johnson patch, it would just lump together, so you had to put 2006 ultimate numbers, or ultimate collection, ultimate numbers, Josh Johnson patch, parentheses, like 5-color, serial number to 35. So it just, after a while, it's like, who cares?
Well, I started throwing into mine all into like subfolders. I had the Terrell Davis collection, and I had, inserts, and then I had parallels, and then I had jerseys, and then I had memorabilia, because, I put, face masks and helmets and all that stuff separate from jerseys.
Yep.
And then I'd have, jersey autos, and then patch autos, or memorabilia autos, and then dual autos, triples, and so on. And it just got to the point. And that's back when I scanned all my stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
And I would scan in 4 at a time and then crop them to try and speed up the process a little bit, so I wasn't scanning each individual card.
We're doing front and back, or just front?
Just the front.
No, I got you.
I think I had a few one-on-ones that I uploaded that I actually did the front and the back, just so I could show that serial number. But outside of that, it was time consuming. But both my Leaf certified patch sets are up on Photo Bucket still. Both sets are still there. And a lot of my Terrell Davis stuff is still there. But, that was early on, and I've amassed a shit ton since then, of course.
Well, I think it's when a lot of us had had a little bit more ambition about that. So I applaud the folks that are still doing that kind of stuff on Flickr, because Flickr is now the one that gets used a little bit. I've shown you guys the Nat Turner Flickr, which has some crazy stuff on it, but he's got the time and the resources to go after it and go for it. So it was like, by all means, and I'm glad he's sharing it, because there's some really cool stuff in there. So respect to that. That's basically where Instagram is coming to play for me. It's like, okay, look, I can be bothered to take a couple pictures of a couple of the cool cards. I'll put them up on Instagram. I don't do it every day all the time, but if I get a bunch of stuff all at once, I say, yeah, I'll take a couple pictures all at once, drop them one a day, just spread them out. There you go. There's 5 of them. There's your whole week.
Mm-hmm.
Done. But I can't be bothered to go and sort them out into folders and stuff. I've got a Flickr, and I started playing around with it, but I'm like, okay, I can't do this in 2 spots and make content and watch content and do all this stuff. Okay, enough.
Well, yeah, and that's the other part of the equation, is the fact that you're making videos of your pickups, you're watching people's videos of pickups, and then trying to find time in between all of that upload stuff to Photo Bucket, and then try and adult.
Yeah. Occasionally, I'm expected to do things around. Occasionally, I'm expected to things that apparently the house can't take care of itself, despite my best efforts. I hear wonderful things about the Roomba, but apparently the Roomba, like, I need to get one, maybe the fully automated Roomba. I need the ComC Roomba that will sort everything for me, because I don't want to do it. It might take. You know what? I don't care if it takes a year, as long as you're the one doing it. I'm not. Let's do it. Let's go.
Well, and that's, I mean, I know it's the same reason you have your stack of stuff sitting there. It's because you don't want to integrate it. That's why I have my stack of stuff sitting here that needs to be integrated, and I just haven't done it.
As long as it doesn't walk away, I'm happy. I cataloged it when it came in. As long as I'm confident in what came in and it's been marked off the checklist. You know what? You do you, stack of cards. You do you, man.
I'll get to it at some point when I get like other more important things done. I know that sounds really bad because, I mean, my card collection is important to me, but it takes the backseat to a lot of other things. Which is why my sorting hasn't gone any further than where it's at now, and I'm still looking at the same freaking stacks as I did in the bedroom. There's the same stacks still sitting here in the office. It's because adulting sucks and other things take priority.
Fair.
So with that, Dave, 2 hours, 41 minutes, coming up on the 3 hour mark.
I think we've all at least expressed some of our pickups, a couple of our goals that we've hit, a couple of goals that are within reach of a series of machines in buildings that you can see from space and the great beyond would actually start to sort cards faster than folks at a nursing home. Maybe those numbers would uptick a little bit and some more purchases would be made to enhance those numbers. But if we're going to be waiting until the Rock's kid is president in like 2053 with how slow they're taking a lot of those numbers that we're trying to strive for, some of these acquisitions, I've got a bunch of stuff sitting on there. I don't even want to request shipment yet. I've seen a lot of the stuff people have bought and then subsequently got, and then guess what? It's not the stuff that they were supposed to get. I don't even want to think about that because I know there's about 5 or 6 one-on-ones in there, and there's stuff I've passed on Brodeur on eBay a couple times, and that it's not popping up all the time. So if those get swapped out for something much, much less desirable to any collector out there, like a Sammy Kapanen Upper Deck exclusives or something, like I don't want that. That means nothing to me. So
What about your Sammy Kapanen PC, Dave?
that's on the lowest of the low rungs right now.
I understand, but as a collector of everything in existence ever and stuff that theoretically doesn't exist, it is on the checklist.
This is true. But I would spend the necessary 83 cents for that and not the $20 for a Brodeur and then be gifted with that 83-cent Kapanen. And now I'm out $19.17 because a machine can figure out Brodeur versus Kapanen from space.
I think at this point, as pertains to ComC, my current stance on it is as follows. It might be more effective to simply become rich and buy ComC.
Yeah.
And just buy the entire warehouse and its contents. And like, my cards are there. Why did you buy? Because my cards are there. It will take me years to find them, but they're in there. And if I just buy the whole company and the warehouse and everything in it, by default, I have my cards.
There you go.
That might be the most effective means with which to get your cards within a reasonable time period. But Carlos, it would take a lot of time to get rich. Might still be faster.
At least you know you have your cards then.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. That's it.
Did I say it was practical? I did not say it was practical. Did I say it was cost effective? I did not suggest it was cost effective at all. I'm saying it might be the most time efficient, despite the obvious hurdles.
So the question becomes, though, does said purchase include all the backlog of cards needing to ship too? Might as well.
Yeah. My plan is just to send all those customers a letter saying, yeah, we sent it off to PSA for you. That is what we asked you to do. Oh, well, you're going to have to ask PSA about that.
Well, the current quickness of the delivery of ComC, you can't be any worse, so what does it matter?
Fair. That's valid. I'll just keep adding numbers to it. At least now we know how many items are in front of you. Why is that number getting higher? What does that work? So retroactive. It's new math, man. Just new math. It's fine. The numbers don't go down. The numbers go up. Just deal with it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
The good question is, are the numbers you're seeing from the website include the eBay numbers?
I would sincerely hope not, for the sake of everyone involved. Everyone involved, literally everyone involved. Look, man, I didn't pick the fastest service this time because I didn't want to pay duty on top of a ridiculous thing. But I still paid like almost $70 for their second fastest. It's been a month and a half. That date of shipping keeps going further and further into the future. Right now, the best case scenario is they ship it 44 days after I ordered it at their second fastest. 44 days and counting. That's not when I receive it. That's when they ship it. Hit the button for the ship. That's the best case scenario as it stands right now based on their estimate. And they claim 28,000 cars in front as it stands right now. That's bad. That's actually really bad. That doesn't give me optimism that it's like, you're saying within the next 2 days you're going to clear through 28,000 cards? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, let's hope that a few of those orders are 600 and 700 cards. Maybe it'll drop that number even faster. I'm trying to be positive here.
No, I get you. And listen, it was 30,000 a couple of days ago, so it is dropping. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay.
We have a question though. What's the topic Friday? Carlos, do you have anything?
I'm going to touch a little bit. I do want to touch a little bit on Hobbypalooza. I want to talk about it a little bit more. I had Bob come on because it was good to have him on for a chat. It was good because it had been a little while since we chatted. I'm going to try to see if I can find somebody to invite. Maybe I can coax one of you gentlemen to pop in for at least a short little spell. Because it's fun to have a little panel, at least have a discussion. We'll see. I don't know yet. But Hobbypalooza will come up a little bit just because it is relevant. It is going to be coming up. We'll see. Maybe PSA will do something crazy. Maybe SGC will do something crazy. I just don't know. I don't think there's going to be one major topic because I think the last week was the crazy news week. That was where like there was tons, and I was able to do standalone videos and stuff, so that was cool. But I think it'll just be generally hanging out, chatting, hobby, and if there's anything cool. That's why I say like Bobby and I were having a lot of fun the last couple of weeks because we were able to bring somebody on and it created a little panel thing, and just having one more voice in the room let Bobby and me have a quick breather, and it just allowed us to kind of sit back for a second and let them talk, which is even if it's just for a minute or two at a time. It's like, oh, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, this past Friday, by the time I actually got home, y'all were like wrapping up. So I actually have to go back and catch most of it on the replay.
Yeah, no worries. I think the last two episodes, I was super happy with the last two episodes. They were good. The one with Andy was a good educational piece for some folks. He did get back a bunch of feedbacks. Once people like heard it in context and then they went back and rewatched the video, they're like, okay, I wasn't really listening to what you were saying the first time. Okay, it kind of makes more sense now. And it's like, yeah, he's not a collector, but he also didn't claim to be a collector. He wasn't explaining it from the perspective. If you look at it from his perspective, it actually made a lot of sense.
What? Listen,
I know.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What is this? What is this concept? This is the first time
a
I've
thing
ever
we
heard of.
don't do in the hobby ever.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah,
well,
it's a new thing. It was invented. Unfortunately, it was invented a long time ago, but like no one does it. So we're having to reintegrate it into like actually listening.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's really helpful. Like you'd be surprised the crazy things that would come up in some of these videos if you listen to what they actually said.
Don't just read the title and comment. Actually, listen to what the person says in said video. Believe it or not, their opinion, which they're allowed to have, doesn't necessarily have to jive with yours.
Well, and take everything in context though too, and that's, you know what I mean. You got to look at the entire aspect of it, not just one specific point. You got to look at it based on the context in which he's presenting said information, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where listening comes into play, since like you said, Carlos, it's an old thing, but obviously it's a new thing.
Yeah.
So
I think people got out of practice with it, and I don't. As much as I enjoy participating in the Get Off My Lawn podcast, I don't subscribe to the section of it from the social media side where now we're conditioned to let me give my opinion right now. It's like you didn't even finish listening to what the other person said before you're giving your retort. How are you going to give the retort if you don't know what the hell they said? What are you retorting on?
Yeah.
I'll accept your retort. That's basically the format of my show. It's like, no, I like arguing. I actually really enjoy it. It's actually a lot of fun for me. But I need you to finish listening to what the first person said, and then you can argue what they actually said, and then then game on after that.
No, I don't know. That's the jumping the gun generation. Everybody just needs to. What's this say? I am offended. Well, listen to what they say. No, I see something. I don't need to hear. Well,
I had the same thing in the Daps Man video though. A lot of people watched the video, they enjoyed the video, but then their comments told me, it's like, you didn't actually listen to what I said, did you? Because you're sitting there focusing on this, like, guys, I'm not really picking up. I am having some fun at Daps Man's expense, but at the end of the day, he's just a symptom. I'm not mad at Daps Man. He exists because there's room for him to exist. It's not his fault. He is the way he is. Well, the hat thing is his fault, but the rest of it is not. It's not his fault. It doesn't work if no one watches. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work if no one listens. If no one buys the ridiculous products, the stickers, the miscellaneous crap, it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, he moves on.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as the retail stuff. Like, people got so mad about the retail. It's like, why are you blaming the people buying all the shit at Walmart? You're the ones buying it when they mark it up.
Mm-hmm.
So is it their fault for realizing there's an opportunity to make a couple of bucks, or is it your fault for giving them a couple of bucks? I'm inclined to blame you.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no money to be made and those blasters are worthless to anybody but a collector, well, then guess what? They sit on the shelf collecting dust until a collector comes by. There's no magic to this. I'm not blaming them. They saw an opportunity. I don't take that personally. Daps Man, I don't take him personally. He's fun to make fun of. He's totally fun to make fun of. But he is a symptom. That's why I'm like, it's not going to be a regular segment, because it's like, okay, you got to bring something new to the table then. Daps Man was fun because he had certain quirks that made him fun. Bob enjoyed him too because he had the little picture of Daps Man, and I thought that was really cool that he did the thing with the laminated picture. Daps Man is fun. That's why as soon as I saw him, I'm like, you, sir, will be fun to mock. Sports card investor, you, sir, were already fun to mock, and I just need an excuse. Well, I got one. A lot of these guys are boring. There's nothing special. It's not that interesting. Look, you see that thing where they're offering to sell you a product? Don't buy it. There's no lesson to be learned. Like, what am I teaching you? And that's why I say, like, I'm preaching the converted. I'm not teaching anything, really. I'm telling you not to buy a thing that hopefully you're not buying right now. The people who need to hear me are not listening anyway. In order for them to hear me, my channel would have to get bigger anyway. In order for my channel to get bigger, speaking of Hobbypalooza, if I was worried exclusively about that, well, then I would have gotten myself into Hobbypalooza. I would have shot over an email and gone, hey, it's like, hey, John Bob, I'm Mike, whatever. Listen, John Bob, Carlos, just, do you got one of these? Didn't think so. So, I'll take that time slot, but I don't care. My time slot now. And I need at least 3 hours. None of this peasant 1 hour garbage. But that's how it would have to be, because for me, it's like, but I think for the folks that are doing it, I think it's cool that a lot of them are getting that extra exposure and stuff. Hobbypalooza doesn't make sense for me. Plus, I'm doing the thing on Friday anyway. So it's like, what do I need? What do I need that for? It would be cool though, because it would expose the channel to some new people. So if it was strictly about let's make this as big as possible, then it would make total sense. Because at least maybe I'd invite some people. Let's do a quick panel discussion for 60 minutes. Hand it off. It's not a bad thing for more people to see it. But I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with the channel. I want to make videos that I want to make. I want to make the ones that are interesting to me. I want to make the ones where you can teach something useful. I want to do the live streams because they're fun. If they're not fun, I'm not doing them. I'm not doing it for that damn long for my health. I'm doing them because they're fun to me. The conversation's interesting. When the conversation ceases to be interesting, then I don't care. We're done.
Yeah, Dave's blacklisted, so that would.
Did you actually confirm that you're blacklisted, though? Did you actually? But here's the thing, Dave. You should have done it for the content. At the bare minimum, you should have shot over the email, and then you could have done the video blacklisted from Hobbypalooza. And then I could have done the video reacting to you being blacklisted. But you needed to actually send the email. Because what happens if you send the email, it goes, yes, Dave, of course, we would love to give you an hour. What day would you like? What time would you prefer? And you're like, oh, crap. My hatred has been ruined. Damn it. I've been acknowledged. No. It ruins my whole shtick.
Hell has frozen over.
That was last year with that.
You made your rounds. You made your rounds, Dave.
I honestly think that's still in play this time. Like, here's the thing. There's so many hours and so many live streams. That's the reason why I'm like fighting for room on a. It's like, guys, for a lot of you, for a lot of the folks on that list, these are the only live streams they're doing. So I'm like, why do I need to run in there and take a slot? It's like, I literally do a live stream every Friday that goes for hours. So it's like, I need more airtime. Like, I need a hole in the head. Like, I'm good. It's fine.
Trista has said that I don't think she doesn't think there's like a ton of blowback off of Mike towards me and my just general disdain for him.
I'm not completely convinced he knows who you are.
But because when I was on with JT for the collector thing, and then subsequently later on when he had the whatever hour-long show in I think November, and then when I was on with like Ed and Mike, when they had like the whole gaggle of everybody on there, I think, and this is from her perspective, that she said that she thinks that Mike tries to put on the face of at least the acceptance of me because, and this is her thoughts, not mine, because I know a lot of people, and it's not like the old I know people. It's just a lot of people seem to like me. And again, that's her perspective. I think people tolerate me for periods of time. But she's like, he's friends with some of these other guys. They're friends with me. And he knows that. So he can't go out of his way to be a douche to me because he's the pillar of the community. Because if he does that, how does that make him look?
See, as much as I want to mock that, I'm inclined to agree with you. But my vision would be, what I would love is if it's more like a Mr. Burns thing, where he's like, who is this Amish Dave Archer? He's one of the drones from Sector 7G. Almost every time there's any criticism of you, it revolves him in some way. It doesn't ring a bell. I like the cut of his jib. He seems swell. And he like literally doesn't remember who you are at any time. Like he's just, nope, no idea who this guy is. Who is this guy? He must be new here.
No clue.
Yeah. I would be infinitely more entertained if that was the case. He's like, one of the drones from Sector 7G. We'll see. But no, I'm inclined to agree with that premise. But like, here's the thing. This is what sometimes folks don't understand. So just to peel back the curtain, there's a lot of people in YouTube that don't particularly like each other, but they don't spend all their time slagging each other. Because then you are basically giving air to, okay, you don't like it, so then you're indirectly promoting it.
Oh yeah.
That wouldn't make any sense. That would literally make no sense. So if you don't agree with it or you don't like it, well then you don't promote it. Can you poke a little fun at it, kind of in a sideways wink glance? Yeah, sure. That's different. That's another way to go about it. But it's like, are you going to overtly go, I hate, and then do a bunch of dramatic videos about it? No, probably not. There's no value to it. So that's why I say, like, in all honesty, I say this with seriousness. If you had been like, hey, can I do a thing on Saturday? Yeah, Dave, go ahead. Which time slot do you want? I don't know what you'd want to do with 1 hour. The other thing that I thought was interesting is what would you do with a 1 hour program? Okay, so you got a 1 hour live stream. And it's like, there's a couple of things you could do, but it's like, I'd be curious to see, like, for Bob and Stove, it makes sense to me. I think they can come up with some wacky stuff to do for an hour. I think that makes sense. There's a bunch of these other guys who are not used to doing like big long live streams where it's like, no, an hour might be more than enough time for them to work through it. At this point, an hour is like my warm-up preamble. We barely got warmed up here.
Knight Sanderson. Yeah, it's that's the other thing is that same with ours. We're just chatting the first usually half hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes longer. We don't even get to the subject or the topic until 45 minutes in sometimes. So it's like,
could you imagine if you ran that as your Hobby Palooza thing? And it's like, all right, guys, so now we're going to get to oh, we're out of time.
let's go over to Carlos's channel right now.
Basically, yeah. Basically.
We'll be over there too.
No, but here's the thing. This is where you could make it work. See, if you were going to do this, it's too late now. It's too late now. But if you were going to do this, the smart way would be, so you pick Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't matter. Pick one of them. And find early afternoon, morning, whatever works best. So you do an hour, and then you hand off to one of us, and then we all basically go over to that channel. And basically it's like hour 2. And then like, all right. And then as I was like, isn't it the same guys with like Bob and Stove? Yes, that's hour 3. It's like Bronco Steve doing a live stream. That's hour 4. And people can just keep rotating around. It's like, did you just dominate an entire day just looping the channels?
Yes.
No, that was no. And now on Rick Vintage Oddball Calls channel, it's like it's the same people, but with Rick. What is this? Hobby Palooza Day 2 is basically just the same people rotating channels.
Well, if they do it in 2021, we need to plan that in advance.
Well, this is 2021, so
2022. Shut up.
But I think that would be the way that if I was going to see, this is the trolley way of doing it. Yeah. This is how you can accomplish your aims, Dave. Now you got some time to think about this. Let the hamster, revive the hamster with, the jaw with the defibrillator, fire it up, see if you can get that hamster going a little bit. And now you got some time to think about it. That's how you do it though. That's how you troll properly.
And if not, I can just throw the hamster through my little basketball hoop connected to the garbage can, like in The Simpsons.
Either way, back to The Simpsons. It works. But the thing is, like I said, my thing with the Hobby Palooza thing is I'm going to watch some of the stuff. Bob and Stove are gonna. I'll hang out in the chat for a little bit. I don't know what their time slot is. I'll look into it. But as a topic, I'll think we'll talk about Hobby Palooza a little bit. I'll hopefully by that time they finalize they finalize. I know they've got the lineup, but I don't know if they finalize the order. I think some of the folks already know what their situation is, but I have to look into it.
I think one of the Saturday one's going to be the whatever hotline thing leading it off.
Yeah. So that's a skip. For everybody, you can skip that. That's trash.
Beckett needs to go to bed by noon.
Yeah, it's important. He's got to go watch his stories. That's critical. Okay, here we go. I think they have updated it. So Hobby Hotline, personal finance ad, so you can skip that. She blinded me refractors at noon. That's fine. That's good. You can watch that. Up North Collectors at 1. That's if you're interested in some breaking, maybe. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but usually it's breaking. Sports Card Live, 2 p.m. Bathroom break for an hour. Diamond Yard Sports Cards. I watched some of the stuff. He's fine. He's good. Breaker Culture, sure. Ray from Philly, if you feel like it. Card Cutter, 6 p.m., that's fine. Bowman 53, that'll be fine. Cardboard Podcast, you can watch that one. That one's good. Maiko at 9. Ben Skier After Party, only if you feel like it. So there you go. There's day 1. Done. Pepino Man, 10 a.m. Not safe for work. But Carlos is Sunday, still not safe for work. I wouldn't have your work computer within 50 miles of that situation. It'll get tainted somehow in some way.
Well, that's 8 a.m. for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, no, 7. He's out in California. It's 3 hours.
But are they doing it?
Oh, sorry. Time CST. My apologies. Yep. CST. So never mind. My apologies. You're right. It's probably 2. Rookie Card Spectrum. That's Victor at 11 a.m. CST. 12 p.m. Surprise. I don't like surprises. Skip.
No.
Victor's good. But yeah, we're skipping Surprise. Behind the Numbers, Tyson Banker, I don't know who the hell that is. Baseball Collector, never heard of him. Reindeer Studios, 4-leaf cards, I have no idea. Surprise again at 4. Like, what's with these surprises? There's like 3 surprises. I don't like surprises. I'm out. Sports Card Nation, nope. Pass. Filmington at 8 p.m. Sure. Okay, so day 2 is mostly skippable. Forget it. Don't even worry about it. Tune in where Filmington thing is at 8 p.m. CST. There you go. Done. I've given you guys the Hobbypalooza lineup. Enjoy.
JT not doing it this year?
Not on this list, unless he's one of the surprises. I didn't see him on this list. So maybe not.
Interesting.
Yeah. As far as I can tell. I don't see Nolan. Like, Nolan for sure is on this list of participants right now. So I don't know. Maybe he's one of the surprises.
Or Eric. That's enough.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I didn't see him on this list, so maybe he's a surprise too. Weird. Well, don't forget, you're also going to have people coming into different live streams as well. So maybe they're joining in on some of those. So maybe that's how they're going to get in there.
A hobby roundtable of all the elite minds.
Okay, question. Let me pose a question. This is a fun exercise. It'll be now that you know more or less what the lineup is, and you can look it up on thehobbypalooza.com if you want to check it out. Okay, what would be the most legitimately interesting lineup if you were going to do a panel? Let's say 4. So you do a panel of 4. What are the 4 that would be the most legitimately interesting, and the 4 like dregs of oh dear God, this is a train wreck waiting to happen? What would be the 4 that you would pick? So you can choose either or. You can do both if you want. Take a second to think about it, because that could be real interesting. So just while you guys are thinking about it, I'll give you my legitimately would be interesting if you put the combination together. Mike O, because he can talk with people. That'll be fine. Filmington at least has things to think about and say, so I'd be good with those 2 being in the same one. That'd be fine. Personal finance judges, because he wouldn't get in the way. So you could still have that conversation. He'd chip in here and there, but for the most part, he'd stay out of it. And then I would probably put Bowman 53 just because he's more of a thoughtful guy. So these 4 people I could put together and still have a decent combination. I could make that work. That would be a glorious train wreck. Amazing. Pepino Man would destroy everything happening, and you only covered 3. The 4th one could be a blank screen.
Oh, that would be fabulous.
It could be a picture of a Furby. It doesn't matter. It's still contributing better than the other 3. You're thinking right, Paul. You're thinking right. Bobby Raw has Pepino Man on repeat 4 times. Imagine Pepino Man choir. Him jiving with himself. So either or. The legitimate one or the biggest train wreck. Like, I'm good either way. So my 4 legit ones would be those 4, because I actually think they could carry on a conversation. It'd be fine. It wouldn't be fine. Train wreck wise, though, you got to have Pepino in there. Like, Pepino is a lock. Bob and Stove would be like 2 of my guys there for sure. Yeah. So right now that's 3 out of 4. That's you know what? I put Jeremy in there just to fuck with him. I put those 3 and then Jeremy in the corner is like, what's happening? You have to be unmuted, Steve. Oh no, you're talking there. No worries.
Joe Perot.
Yep. Is this for the legit or the train wreck?
Mojo Sports.
Okay.
Snoop. And Mark.
Okay, but I don't think Snoop is involved in this one though.
Well, he is involved. Well, neither is Mojo, so.
Okay, but at least Joe Perot is part of one of the panels, so he got dragged in indirectly. So Joe Perot, I get. I get that one. Rick, you're 100% right, but he's like, basically, I'm grabbing a 4th guy who would just not get in the way. Because if you got 2 or 3 people that are going to talk a lot, the 4th person kind of has to be out of the way. So aside from leaving a blank square, you could, trust me, personal finance guy would not interject. He'd just stay kind of out of the way. That's why I say, like, there is a strategy. You have to think it through a little bit, because just getting 4 talkative people in theory sounds good, but then you're leaving the opportunity to just talk over each other. You got to be a little strategic with it. Somebody's got to be a little more thoughtful and kind of sit back and then chime in here and there. Got to pick your spots a little.
Pepino, Stove, Jeremy, and Sports Card Investor.
Interesting. That's an interesting dynamic. All right.
Thunderdome.
And that one is for the intellectual side, right? That one's for the intellectual side.
No. Far from it.
I like Ed's suggestion. I can't see anything could possibly go wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. It would be great.
Yeah,
can you ban an entire genre from YouTube, let alone a channel? That might get her done.
I'd rather be on a panel with JY Sports Card Guy and Mojo Sports. I don't know who the fourth would be. Mike. Let's put Baseball Collector. If we're going to start a fire, you might as well just burn everything down right away.
Listen, secretly, I know you love Mojo Sports. Don't lie to me. I was watching one of his episodes today, and I was like, I can see why Dave would be annoyed by this guy. That's what entertains me about it. I can see it, though. I can see it. I get it.
I will say one thing.
Uh-huh.
From he had, because I watched when I linked in the chat about the Sam Darnold. He showed Min Lovers 2, Nick, which I was happy to see. At least he's still in the game collecting, because he was I won't say from our old school, from when we jumped in on YouTube, but he's at like second iteration of like the 2011, maybe mid 2011, when he got in 2012 early. So it's at least, I was happy to see him, because at least it's a face I remember.
Okay.
Unlike all these other schlubs and schmucks that are just like coming out from under the bridge.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So let's see. I'm a big fan of Pacino Man.
Yeah, that's a typo.
No, I would rather see Pacino Man. Can we get Pacino Man on here? That'd be amazing.
That could be interesting, though.
It would be you talking to me for an hour. It's like, yes, we're talking to you. Yes, we're talking to you.
We could have B Roth 6 Roth cards.
Rothschilds? Are we going with the theme?
Rothless Burger.
Great. These are the themes we're going with.
All right, now we're getting into a stretch here.
Yeah. I will say, though, there is some fun combinations, though, that could be done if you wanted to. If you wanted to build a panel of 4, you could have some fun with some of these combinations. There would be some interesting and weird combinations that you could do.
That's what he should have done. Say, hey, you want to be involved? Email me. And then have a video picking names out of a hat. Here's the first hour. Here's 4. Second hour. Just guess what? I won't say it's speed dating, because it's like an hour, and you sort of know or can get like matched up with people you've watched or you know of. But that would make it a lot more interesting, where you're forced not to just talk with your quote-unquote friends.
Dave, can I propose? I like your idea. Can I propose a variation on the same idea that would make it very interesting? So you do Hobbypalooza, but you do it so that you give certain folks their hour, the same way you do today, whatever it is, but then you say all of them have to be panel shows. And what you do is you grab the other names out of a hat and you do a draft. And do a draft special before Hobbypalooza. And you must pick at least 2 or 3 people to join you. But there's a draft order. And then you get reactions to being like, are you being strategic? Who do you pick first? How do you pick? Who's last to be picked? And then at some point, someone's like, Stove, no! Bob Lewis, no! I would enjoy that. That'd be fun. I would watch the hell out of that. The draft special alone would be much watch.
Well, then you can have the draft special. Then you can have the post draft like recap.
Yes.
You just drag it out.
There's your Friday right there. There's your Friday of Hobbypalooza, the draft and the post draft special. And you're like, why would you intentionally pick Stofe in the second round? There were all these other why'd you pick the best one on the board available? Filmington was still there. Filmington was still there at number 18. You fool.
Like, didn't you see what happened last year? What's going on?
I'm just saying there's some opportunities for some wonderful train wreck YouTube. Wonderful train wreck YouTube. Just throwing it out there. I assume that reference means something to you? I got nothing.
That's why him and I on the same panel would be beautiful. Because he was going to stop watching sports because of all the like kneeling and stuff and not collecting, and then.
Oh, so then he should hang out with Sean Sweeney. That'd be great.
Lo and behold, though, still collecting. I know it's shocking.
Look, this is not this. This is a controversial position that shouldn't be. It's very straight to me. It's very straightforward. If stuff like that bothers you, you don't like the sport that much.
No.
Like it's not that complicated. Like, look, and here's the thing: you can watch or not watch a sport for any reason you want. Believe it or not, I'm not going to critique you for that. You can not like the color of the uniforms. If that's your reason, then you weren't that attached to the sport to begin with. I understand. I get it. It's not to your aesthetic. Fair enough. You preferred it in black and white. Cool. That's fine. No worries. But like, I don't care what the players do. I don't care what the beliefs are. I don't care whether they stand for the anthem. Don't stand for the anthem. Kneel on the anthem. Kneel on the flag. Burn the flag in the stands. I don't care what they do. What are you doing when you're playing? I'm interested in the game thing happening here. And you can't play both ways. You can't be like, oh, but I just want to see the game on the field. Well, great. Then watch the game on the field. Awesome. Then watch the game on the field. Congratulations. Good news. The game is being played. You can watch it. Oh, but what about this? Like, so you're distracted about this other stuff then. So then you don't care about the game on the field because you're being distracted by this other stuff that is not the game on the field. Because if they're doing it on the field, then you can argue with me during the game of play. Maybe that's a different conversation. Not happening during the game of play. Otherwise, I don't care. That's just me. Like, believe whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Are you playing? Cool. Let's do that then. That's just my thing. Everybody can do their own.
But it's valid.
Yeah. And by the way, if you decide that for whatever reason that's not cool with you and you don't want to watch the game anymore, hey man, no worries. But you don't need to announce it. I don't care. You don't need to make a video about it. You don't need to make a social media post. I genuinely do not care.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
They need attention. Those.
Well, that's true too.
I kind of like that combination. But I don't know, man. I think Dave would fit in just fine there. I don't know what you're putting Mike O in there for. What's Mike O going to do in that, in that murderer's row? Like it's not quite as good as Pacino Man. But, well, if you had Pacino Man, listen, Pacino Man could carry this thing by himself. It'd be amazing.
All 3 days.
True. That's what I'm saying. Sasha T and Dave. I think Sasha T and Dave would have a wonderful debate. If we got Pacino Man in there to moderate, guys, we don't even need a fourth. Just put a blank square in the fourth. We're fine. Don't worry about it.
There you go, Carlos.
Ed, I'm in under one condition. This is being hosted on mine, and I'm going to mute all 3 of them, and they won't notice. I'll just talk for the full hour, and no one will notice I muted all 3 of them the entire time.
I'll give you one more. You can have Justin back.
Ooh, now you're talking to murder. You're giving me all the All-Stars, Dave. All the All-Stars. Oh, that's like Dream Team, Monstars. You give me everything. Give me the whole thing. Be amazing.
It's like you get the whole Wacky Races team, the whole grouping of everyone.
Listen, you joke about it, but if that's the panel that I get, it's like Hobby Palooza's doing this thing, chugging along, a couple 100 viewers here, 100 viewers there, whatever. Why are there 147,000 people watching this? What's going on? Don't worry about y'all. I got you. I got you. It's like, did he just mute the other 4 of them? Yes, he did. And they're still talking as if nothing had happened. It's incredible. They're having a conversation all by themselves. It's going great. Great.
It'd be awesome too if you could have those 3 or 4 with just closed captioning. That's all you see is auto-generated stuff, and half of it you can't understand. So
I see nothing wrong with this, Dave. I think this is a winner. See, this is a fun topic. There's so many beautiful combinations that could be there. Guys, you have time in your imagination. We will play this game one more time on Friday. I will promise we'll play. Let's all take a couple days and think about it. We all have a chance now to look. We can come up with our own fantasy lineup of best 4-person panel. That is your homework. Come up with a cool fourth person panel for whatever reasons you want. We'll have a couple of minutes and talk about it again on Friday. Because that's a fun game to play with this lineup of folks.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Dave. There we go. I think that's a good one. I think we can send her off. Yeah, I'm not worried about his hands. At this point, I watched his videos. He might not be able to get out of his house. I'm impressed he can dress himself in the morning. He's not exactly a rogue scholar over there. I'll move on. It'll take him like 6 months to figure out he's muted. We'll be fine.
That's an interesting combo.
See that I would put that one under the more interesting conversation. I would listen to that because Nolan knows his stuff. Nolan's solid. He knows his stuff. He can hold his own. Sports Card Investor, though, might get pushed into the background. I think Comeback Card Investor would wisely shut the hell up in that moment and let like Nolan and Sasha T go at it because that could be entertaining.
This would be YouTube gold.
I think so. I agree with that. Love it.
Almost as much as throwing a treat on my dog's back and watching him spin around for 3 minutes until the thought fell off.
Interesting. All right, Dave, all you.
With that, thank you to Steve, of course, Carlos, Vinny, jumping on. Again, find this anywhere else but Friday nights, and good luck. You're not going to find it, guaranteed.
We're the Hobby Palooza, the unofficial Hobby Palooza pregame show, which is to say it's better than about 85% of the content.
Yeah, this is like the VIP only.
Yeah, it's like Hobby Palooza, but like not shit.
Yeah.
Not all of it. Just to be clear, I did name some things that I thought were good. Don't try to rewrite the narrative on me. I did pick some stuff that I thought was good. I did say there was some stuff worth watching.
Yes.
Go watch those things. The rest of it, ignore it. It's trash.
No, nobody's denying that.
No.
Oh no, someone will. I know someone will deny that.
And if they do, they can go back and rewatch it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Just making sure I did, in fact, pick out some things in that schedule that I thought were worth your time, and I did call them out by name.
This is true.
These are facts.
Just making sure. It's like I'll walk away and I'll be like, Carlos Saints thinks all of hobby. No, I do not.
So thank you all for watching as well and participating in the chat. That always helps. Flowed again real well tonight. Subscribe. Notifications on. Like the video, dislike the video. Cash App, crypto wallet, Venmo. What else? Western Union, PayPal, money order, money transfer.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, of course, and our OnlyFans too. Well-concealed cash. We do take cards as well. Greeting, gift, and sports. Clothing donations, especially trucker hats. We're looking for to expand that collection. We're not looking to expand the schmediums.
Settle down,
Bodies
Dave.
expand.
Settle down. Shut it down. Shut it down right now. Hit the red button while you still can.
So, Steve and Dave, remember, collecting cards, great part of the hobby. Friendships you make in the hobby, that's what it should be about. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.